Alright, well, what's up? I'm gonna get some things going.
Sleep? Oh no. Oh no, Tomato Boy. We just getting started. Hello, Consumed Sword. Hello, Kaisar, the mighty Kaisar, one and only. I was under the impression quite a few people said, hey, I like that you stream at the certain time that you do. So, you know, if somebody got to go to bed, well, the show's got to continue. Bro, it's Sunday late at night. Yeah, and I don't go to school. And I got 4 days off. Hello, Frontiers. He is absent for the moment. So I am now the streamer. On that note, it is now time to play some Millistar Wonderland. Now, in this moment, for the bit, I would go to his computer and start playing on his computer. But I like my throat, so I'm staying at my computer.
Alright. Hello, Tomato, Consumed, Kaiser, Frontiers, Pyro. Lovely, lovely Oreos right next. You guys ever see the prices? You ever see the prices for thin Oreos and how they're exactly the same? But if you look at the price per ounce, it's almost like double the price. Yeah. Shame. Would have loved to have some.
If you guys do you have a favorite Oreo? Because I know there's like 20 the damn things, and then there's a thin version of it. Anybody preference, or you all just like original? Or maybe you hate Oreos. Maybe you don't even eat Oreos at all.
I'm not muted, right? Can you like enable the stream volume?
No, you're not muted. They're fucking with you.
Okay, well, I mean, I wasn't talking at all because I turned the stream on.
Don't worry.
I took care of a dish.
I am listening to the stream right now.
I can't
see my levels.
I'm not worrying. I'm just wanted to fucking talk about what I did, where I was. I was just fucking pouring out some tea, getting some milk, and getting some Oreos. Oh.
Well, there you go. You just told them all of it in one go.
Yeah. No thanks to you, buddy.
Thanks to me, you mean?
No thanks to you.
No thanks to me that you are thankful of me.
There are many things I would love to thank you about right now, and this ain't one of them. And quite frankly, there is not that many in actuality. I'm just lying.
I appreciate the ones that exist.
But will you ever figure it out? I was just curious what Yuzuho's fingernails look like.
Uh-huh.
You say uh-huh like... Say uh-huh like I was lying.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, she's right here.
I haven't done the story yet.
This isn't story. This is just fluff.
Is it fluff for the shitty event? It is.
Yeah, it's fluff for the shitty event. You don't even have to do this. If you just do PvP, then you can progress at the exact same rate anyway.
I don't want to do the PvP.
Ryan, bangaboo chest with me. Well, I'm already on Ether, so I can sandbag. Why not?
Can I just do the story mode and just not do the PvP?
Oh, hold on. Let's see. Oh. The story mode's pretty easy.
Right, but will I miss out on like the fucking characters?
So you get 150 victory points.
Stop. Will I get to talk to characters of Zenless Zone Zero if I do only the story mode, or do I have to get a shitty ass ranking in a PvP mode I don't want to play?
I was doing the fucking math, you dumb shit, but since you're too busy fucking cutting me off and yapping about pointless shit when I'm trying to explain to you how to fucking do this shit. So, okay.
I don't need the full tutorial, just can I just
I'm doing math! Fuck it. I'll do it. I'll do it myself. I'm just not gonna talk. If you're just gonna keep cutting me off, I'm just gonna do it on screen.
Alright. Hello, Quacky. Or Quacky. Probably one of those two. Who here is excited?
You're gonna be short 150 points for this 80 polychrome right here.
Oh no, 80 polychrome.
Jesus.
I just want to speak to Ye Shuang. That's all I care about.
I mean, you can just stare at her.
She's not there in my world.
Yeah, because you have to advance it.
To
advance it. Ether rank Bangaboo is just Magnaboo Simulator. See, I never changed my strategy. So, let's just say that it's kind of a coin flip as to whether or not I win or lose when I get put into a match. Not fun.
I'm gonna be honest. I just don't even want to play this like at all. Hello,
hey, Tom Term. Oh yeah, that information came out where apparently like there's no encoding to the IP addresses of people who play PvP anyway. So if you play PvP, you've just been doxxed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because they haven't encoded any of the the information when on like I don't know, the client or the server side.
Common Zenless Zone Zero W.
I can't wait to see the usual suspects complain about that.
And who might that be?
Oh, you know.
Is
Hello,
this a
IG Gaming
man?
Oh no. By the way, how do we feel about Pharos, by the way, guys?
Pharos who?
Regular players won't go around pulling IPs. Yeah, of course.
Who's Pharos?
He's a gotcha content creator. Let me see if I can pull
Never mind. I'm all good.
He's got the funny afro guy as his profile picture. I'm gonna be honest. I've only watched one Pharos video, and I think it was the no skip button thing. And I gotta be honest, the only takeaway I got about Pharos is he likes to stare. He likes to stare a lot. With he's definitely got that face, you know. He's got like he pierces into your very soul, you know. Like I don't think there's another way to put it. You know. Let's just say I wouldn't want to be in like a hotel waiting room at like 2 a.m. with this guy looking at me for more than like 5 minutes.
He makes me think of a skinnier Corey in the house.
That's a very... Didn't Corey have like... I don't know. Dude, Pharos has a pretty big honker right there. Look at that nose.
Okay.
How many... Might have been a bit much.
Not a drama channel, by the way.
Shut the fuck up. That comment got misquoted anyway. That comment got misquoted frame fucking one anyway.
Hello,
Are
you actually a channel? Do you make videos? Let's find out.
Can't you look yourself?
Yeah.
I'll look too.
I just feel like anybody that has gaming in their name, if they don't actually make videos, I feel like it's kind of like a username L. Like I would change it if I could. Just some art.
He made art for his mother's birthday.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when people's username is tied to, like, it says gaming in the name or channel in the name, and he says his is both.
To be fair, his first video was Roblox, so it was a gaming channel at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Was my destiny? No. The context of the clip, Kaiser, was I was in a video in response to EO's original YouTube comment, and I said, "quote I do not. I my original intention was not to become a drama channel, but if I will do what I must if I need to, defend my name." But, here we are. You expected me to hate Thrall. Yeah. Well, I think something to take into consideration when thinking about the Defiler at the time is
Hello, Neri.
Hello, Nirai. So, when the Defiler came out in version 2.2, I did not have Evelyn, and I did not have Trigger on my account. So, I only had All Anomaly, and then Ellen, and then a Zhu Yuan, but no Qingyi. And also, there are some people who will say, "Oh, you can use Nicole and Austria." Yeah, I still don't understand how you're supposed to use Zhu Yuan. And also, Defiler is like, and also Defiler was the second boss in like a trend of defensive assist only characters allowed. But now that the Thrall is out, I have Trigger, I have Jafufu. And not even talk about Dylan for a second. I have Trigger, I have Jafufu, and I also even managed to pull off a 20k with both Lycon and Coletta to my own surprise. He is annoying, not gonna lie. Hello, Amy. And I even posted this in the Fox Soul server. I had just finished building my Jafufu this morning, and I gave the boss a shot. I got 24k on my second try. On my first try, I got 19k, and I was actually getting pretty angry because I didn't understand what I did wrong, or I just didn't get what was going on. But then I did the second attempt, I got 24k. The strat, just dump everything into Sobek. The moment it says, "Yo, kill Sobek," just dump everything into it. Ellen ult, Jafufu ult, Austria ult, just everything into it.
Am I the only one that's getting really, 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 really bored of Deadly Assault and feels like either the mode needs to be slightly longer, or I would rather go back to the, hey, we're going to have you fight 2 trash mobs before you go in there?
Well, they're reworking... You mean Shiyu Defense?
No, Deadly Assault.
Deadly Assault, you never fought 2 trash mobs.
Yeah, make that.
You have...
I
you have
Shiyu
Defense for that.
So you didn't even listen to me.
Add 2 trash mobs. You want that?
Something. I am sick of the walk in and just smack it for 3 straight minutes with no real mental deviation.
Yeah, play Battle Tower. That's what Pyro said. Play Battle Tower.
I'm not gonna go play the mode where they take away the flashes and then don't reflect that in the game's design.
Okay, well, I don't know what you want. Go play Shiyu Defense with modifiers turned on. Go play Hollow Zero with some modifiers turned on. Go get the
Don't
different...
you question mark me, Pyro. You know what I'm fucking saying. You think when the dog does the fucking quick right hand swipe that shit was meant to, that in the design room they said to themselves, "Hey, yo, so
Kaiser, can I see that tweet?
We're going to remove the flash."
Kaiser, do you happen to have that tweet?
A bunch of moves that are going to be so seeable during flashes, because when they're doing their 3 bajillion fire off all their pretty effects, they're going to be able to see this quick little swipe hand where the only telltale sign is the hand moves backward, and then in half a frame it go forward. Great design flaws.
Man,
no, this game is not built for the
what the fuck is wrong with my Twitter feed?
What the fuck is that? It's amazing.
Okay. By the way, I was reminded of something. Toy Story.
Pyro even conceded, I thought about it and forgot about the dog. Yeah, the dog ain't fun. Again, you know exactly what move I'm talking about. He pauses for like half a second. His right front arm goes slightly backwards,
So
and then slightly forwards in half a frame's time. And again, if you're playing, I don't know, let's say a slightly bigger character, like the giant fucking metal lion that's about to come out, and your body is completely blocking that little hand, good luck knowing he's about to swipe your ass.
I was just gonna mention that just seeing that and just seeing that in my Twitter timeline just reminded me of a Twitter post that I saw yesterday, where it was just an image of Sid's toys from the first Toy Story, and it made me realize this is a hooker, this is a bouncer, or a quackhead, whichever one of your interpretation, and this is a one-eyed monster, which is a slang for a penis. Man. Kids film and show writing had a lot more creativity going on for it.
Was the like the dick sucking shadow like an edit, or was that actually in the Pixar movie?
The what? Sorry,
the dick sucking shadow.
The dick sucking shadow.
There's a frame in Toy Story where all the toys are looking up, but if you look at the shadow above the toys, it looks like there is a woman giving a man a blowjob. Was that real or was that edited? I'm gonna Google Toy Story shadow. I'm sure it'll come up.
I don't think that's true.
Okay, no, it wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that one was true. Okay. Anyway,
Was it true? I don't know.
I was on Twitter for a second because I wanted to see if I could find that post that Kaiser mentioned. But after liking one anime video, I now my feed is like a third anime. And then British people making disgusting ass looking food.
Define disgusting looking food.
Well, this looks like this thing, whatever the hell this is. I don't know where to begin with this. This is some thick sliced bread with some white
Funyuns?
shit. And oh, those are Funyuns, yeah. I had no idea what those were when I looked at them.
Look, it's a fucking dumbass white woman just bored out of her mind wanting to make some random ass food. Just move on.
I sent it to you. See my history. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. History in the chat, probably.
Certified White Girl Wednesday.
Why the fuck can't I see it? They got removed. Did the link got wiped? I thought we, Kaiser, I thought we shared DMs. I thought I could check there.
The British invaded half the world for spices and still didn't learn a single recipe from the whole adventure. Oh, that is gas.
Okay. I want to see this. I'm blanket rejecting friend requests. Did I do that on purpose? How do I change that?
Didn't you say you wanted to
How do
come
I
back
change
to
that?
Genshin for Millistar Wonderland or no?
Maybe. What? Would you want me to install that right now? That'd be a long ass install.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's
We
not
should
gonna
have probably
happen,
have planned
right?
ahead for this. No, Kaiser, I sent you a friend request.
I was just asking. I didn't actually anticipate you to be like tonight? Question mark.
I mean, I didn't really plan for it. All right.
Don't you have decent download speed though?
ZZZ,
Like
okay,
insanely good?
ZZZ Anonymous. I've gotten posts from this guy a few times. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at it. Let's discuss Deadly Assault. Shut up, Grok. Easily the most egregious and yet least discussed of the ways that 2.x has supposedly enshittified the game more than it being Chinese. I've already said this a few times in like my tinfoil hat light racist manner, is that I feel like pretty much every one of these gacha games gets objectively worse once we start exploring like Chinese related content for one reason or another.
One Piece? What the fuck is the Rupture One Piece? And it's real.
I'm not gonna try and figure out what he means with this line of words. More than having Seed, Bare Feet, or Orphe being Orphe instead of Sarah Connor. More than the story supposedly lacking its original too cool for school edge is the absolute
Orphe
mess that is
Sarah?
The absolute mess that Deadly Assault has become. This is a consequence of a number of overt and covert things, with the overt being HP inflation, which, as a tryhard get good sweat, I will finally concede is getting rather noticeable, and shield buffs as powerful as multiple agent mindscapes. Those are, as far as I can observe, discussed to death. That is why I want to discuss the more covert ways in which the mode has, in my opinion, been ruined, and it comes down to the formula boss design. I'm pretty sure this is not as covert as you think it is. Everyone has complained about the design of several of the bosses, but let's give him an opportunity to speak for himself before I, put the cart before the horse. 2.0 to 2.4, 5 bosses have been added to the Deadly Assault roster. Priest, Fiend, Defiler, Hunter, and now Thrall. Greatest commonalities between them is that their fights are very scripted. Everyone is well aware of how scripted these fights are. What at most? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I agree on the Orphe. No. I was confused for a second. Arwen, while you're saying what you're saying is
I'm gonna pull this over for a second in case there's
what
a spoiler.
What they actually mean is the English voice actor, because they mentioned Sarah Connor. I assume what they mean is that Sarah Connor did something with her acting as Orphe that did not make it feel like an actual character that transcended.
Fuck me, that's a spoiler. All right, we're going back. Okay, we're not looking at Hakashu. We're just gonna go off of memory. So like, Bringer is like the only person that had zombie. So as far as I'm aware, like, Bringer is like the only one that had like a scripted element to his fight where he would have to periodically go over and spawn the hand. But as far as I'm aware, no other Deadly Assault boss kind of before 2.0 had like a scripted aspect to its battles. So anyway, yeah. So he is right that there was a trend of scripted design for these bosses. The greatest commonality between them is that their fights are very scripted. An amount of brawling is undergone, and then the boss enters a miasma shielded state or outright becomes invulnerable, and some series of mechanics and or general alterations to play must be performed to optimally defeat this phase. Upon defeating it, the boss suffers immense damage, days, and refreshes your squad's resources. Yep, that's correct. This is abstractly defined. It's hardly a problem. The problem arises from the fact that all of these cutscene phases are exactly that. The hardest part of every Deadly Assault fight is never the parts that make them unique. Priest just wants you to play her moveset. Fiend wants you to dodge. Defiler wants you to press buttons and run the right agents. More on that later. Hunter wants you to press a single button on the right thing, and the Thrall's just a mess. None of these mechanics will ever be as difficult as playing a perfect stun window, and so they feel more like breaks. To breathe within a fight, but also low points within them as a consequence. The version 2 DA roster is defined by cinema at the expense of skill expression and often even plain fun. The first time you parry Priest's barrage of parry checks, it feels amazing. The 10th time it wears thin, parrying that same barrage. I mean, in my opinion, my issue with with parrying the Priest is less about like the repetitive nature of it, and just sort of more so the responsiveness of it, because when defensive assists were first conceptualized in Zenless Zone Zero, they were conceptualized under the idea that you would just do them once and you wouldn't like try to string them together one after another. There needs to be like some sort of like input buffer safety to a degree. Like obviously if someone's mashing it, they shouldn't be able to get away with it, but I feel like there are some issues where players run into situations where they feel like that their timing is off and they can't really wrap their head around it. Let's catch up with chat for a second before I keep going.
I mean, this is why as early as like 1.3, I was saying to you that the only boss that I felt like was interesting in the whole damn game was the twin dancers, because they had an actual interesting dynamic as a boss fight where there's just two of them and you have to micromanage two of them, which is the most basic mechanic. But I was calling it unique because every other boss was just fight boss, no phases where Geppetto, right? Geppetto has those move sets where you have to actually try and move around and try and dodge the moving walls and the ground effects. What was the flower boss? The one before that?
Nenev.
Menev had those individual phases where they would be invulnerable and they would spawn the little ad mobs that you had to clear, or you could avoid. But if you didn't do that, there would just be a bunch of tentacles on the phone. Those were two fights that were actually unique that had something
was
to do.
Today, tried Girls Frontline 2, enjoying it so far. That's nice to hear, Killa.
Killa hooks.
Technically, we already had Deadly Assault, and it was with Nenev. Let me go over to Shu Defense. Let me go over to Hollows here for a second.
I remember that. You're still streaming the Twitter post if you're trying to show it off. Oh wait, never mind. I'm not live. There we go.
So if we go over to Withered Domain,
real quick while you're saying that, I'm just trying to say that I feel like this guy is honestly kind of on point. It's that the reason why I said the twin marionettes were actually an interesting fight was because they had an inherent mechanic of them being two of them. Now again, that's not that interesting of a mechanic, but it's better than just they swing at you, you dodge and or block it, and then just keep spam attacking, stuff like that, right? So
can you not ramble forever, because I want to I want to try and keep a pace.
For them to make the miasma mechanic, but then just kind of paint by numbers it for every boss up until this point with a slight variation of these bosses will also have their own immune phase where they're just off the battlefield for a brief time. It does definitely feel very paint by numbers, very just, same old.
Okay. Anyway, so I want to catch up on chat for a moment to just kind of figure this out, just to see what I missed. This is talk about Orphe's character writing. I'm not really interested. I'm not really going to speak on Obel Squad. Let's see. Scripted due to miasma mechanic. Largely seems to be moving its inspiration to MMOs rather than fighting games. Well, I mean, there are scripted phases in some hack and slash games. Now, whether or not you want to say that there are parallels between the good or the bad hack and slash games is another thing entirely. I think the pool mechanic with Fiend is pretty out of place, because you're not really doing anything there except just kind of dodging and then just lining up a circle with some pools on the ground. I feel like that phase could have been more interesting if there
really is a super weird
that phase would have been more interesting if maybe they put a mob that you have to fight while also managing the pools and stuff, just so you have something to do instead of just focusing on just the pools. But I mean, that's just my opinion. Otherwise, the other bosses are aside from the weird hide and seek mechanic from Wandering Hunter, it is just primarily just parrying, and then maybe a slight variation between across the rest of them. Let's see. Let's see. Miasma Fiend was just weird in general. Let's see. Geppetto. Check the 2 video about HP inflation, and the whole situation about ALG and Kete was originally sparked from rail players being unable to outright kill TA bosses. How valid is this claim? I gotta be honest, Kaiser. I was not around for that situation when they were talking about being able to kill bosses. The only thing that I'm aware of when it comes to ALG and maybe Kete's stance on the matter is that ALG specifically was just bummed out that he couldn't use as many characters as he once was able to in newer Deadly Assault rotations. Now, under what context though was ALG saying that he couldn't 20k with other characters, or was he saying that he couldn't get as high as a score with other characters? That part I don't know, so I don't want to speak on that because I wasn't around at that time. I was on my hiatus. Let's see. Any Shu bosses felt like DA. Okay, so Neneb was the first iteration of Deadly Assault, technically. Like, you had a timer, and you had to try and output a certain amount of score, but it was played differently because you could bring in a Rizonia set from Vanilla Hollow Zero to then use against Neneb, as well as your regular characters. So there was already a lot of degree in the original conception of what Deadly Assault was before Deadly Assault actually happened. There was already a lot of like room for interpretation and for possibilities in dynamic gameplay because of its interaction with Hollow Zero. So that definitely was a lot more interesting. You know, I got to be honest. I kind of lost the train of thought of where we're going. Let me go back to the tweet and see.
Let's go back to the Twitter post.
Let's see. So you were talking about specifically why they didn't add Geppetto. They didn't have an enemy like Geppetto into Deadly Assault, right? That's
or
what
just
we're talking about.
Like I'm just using
It's
Geppetto
because
Geppetto had
ZZZ
far more interesting
ZZZ
like
ZZZ. Yes, I get it. ZZZ is a completely different game from what it was at launch. When TV mode and combat was this shared this stage for gameplay, so to speak, and you would shift between the two. Obviously, they didn't want the gameplay side to be so overwhelming. Theoretically, like in concept, the idea was that one side of the gameplay loop wouldn't overtake the other. So you wouldn't have situations where you would be screwed over in combat because of like screwing up too badly in TV mode. Though it was possible.
I don't know what you're talking about here by bringing this up.
What I'm trying to say is the reason why bosses like Neneb and Geppetto had those more interesting and wacky designs is because that ZZZ back in the day was not as focused on being like hardcore reflex focused in its combat system, which is why they played around with more bizarre stuff.
Focused, but again, those phases were almost kind of bullet hell phases, which are more interesting.
Not really. Not really. Neneb. Not really. Neneb. No. I'm gonna push back. I'm gonna push back on you on this one. Neneb was just stupid. Neneb would just cocoon her. Would just block herself off from you, and then you would just have to wait it out, or you could whack tentacles for some reason if you really wanted to. But they didn't have any telegraph, and the way the tentacles like actually swung at you, there was no visual tell to let you know that they were about to hit you, and the projectiles that Neneb would shoot out were so inconsistent because of the fact that they were flying at you out from the air that you might not be able to properly dodge them, and then you would just take stray hits, and if you are on higher difficulty Shiyu defense, you would just die. As for Geppetto's very easy. Like Geppetto's mechanics is very easy. I would hardly call it like challenging whatsoever, even with higher modifiers.
They're far more interesting bosses, though. All your complaints can literally just be improved as like an actual patch improvement.
The real challenge was to reach Neneb. On the TV, in the Blitz mode, I'd say yeah, because on higher difficulty Blitz mode, then yeah, you were just kind of whacking like incredibly high damage sponges that didn't have any telegraphs. But I wouldn't know because I only did high difficulty Blitz after Miyabi came out. And I did that intentionally because after having been screwed over multiple times trying to do Honkai Star Rail Divergent Universe on higher difficulties, I decided for ZZZ that I wouldn't try to pursue the higher difficulties until newer characters came out, so I could go back and retroactively just squash that stuff. Anyway, let's move on. The gameplay value of consecutive tight timing challenges comes from the difficulty of being reactive, but that is lost once you realize that every single version 2 DA boss begins their mechanic phase at specific times on the clock. Even if you aren't actively paying attention, your pattern recognition brain is evolved. Your brain's pattern recognition, your brain's pattern recognition, that's how this should be phrased, is evolved to do it anyway, and subconsciously prepares you whether you wish it or not. It then becomes time to start mashing spacebar, and it quickly starts to occupy the same space in our minds where we keep watering the lawn, doing dishes, and taking medication. Yeah. If anyone's played I want to say, if anyone's played Monster Hunter World and they're familiar with the boss Alatreon, I think this is a good parallel that I would put to it. Is that Alatreon had a similar situation to it, where there was fixed mechanics in place so that the flow of the battle would always be the same, where you would fight him in one phase and then you would have to and then he would swap to another phase, and then you need to focus on breaking his head so that he stays in the phase that your gear is built around. And then he goes over to the center and you heal yourself up and you repeat the process. And I think Fatalis to an extent also had that as well, where you would need to constantly be constantly managing ballistas and position yourself to be ready to run away from like fire breath on the arena at set periods of time during the fight. But obviously both Alatreon and Fatalis are both monsters that have much are monsters that you fight like upwards of 20 to 30 minutes every attempt. So there's a much wider gap in time between those actual fixed moments comparatively to a 3-minute boss in a gacha game, obviously.
I partially disagree with the way this talking point and even the way you're talking about it is handled. What he's just describing is just a phase change. The problem in this game is it's not a phase change. It's a brief mechanic that is done once. If these bosses actually had a full-on, like, I think the best example is Wandering Hunter. Wandering Hunter is super boring. You simply just attack him until hide and seek, and then after hide and seek, the fight just goes immediately back to what it was before, and the way it played out for the entire time is simply just him swinging his arm and then occasionally screaming and then random projectiles coming out from above him. There's no deviation whatsoever.
Yeah, Wandering Hunter is my least favorite Deadly Assault boss in version 2.
At least the the Chimera, the construction Chimera, that actually has a second fucking phase to it. Butcher actually has a second phase to them.
Well, neither of those happen in Deadly Assault. Neither of those happen in Deadly Assault.
Cool. Okay, whatever. Defiler kind of has a phase 2, but by the time phase 2 starts, the fucking fight is going to be over in like 30 seconds anyway.
What's my favorite Deadly Assault boss? Marionettes. I think Marionettes is my favorite.
I'm not gonna vote because I just don't like the boss fights in this game.
Anyways, I completely lost the train of thought. Let's go ahead and continue and see if I can recall. Ari only hates Wuthering Waves because he couldn't defeat him. He couldn't defeat him in the roguelite mode. Oh, sorry, Wandering Hunter. No, I don't hate Wandering. He's probably just memeing. The reason I don't like Wandering Hunter, and this is something I already made in my video when talking about the Thrall, is that everyone praises the Wandering Hunter because he has like barely any time spent in invulnerability phases, but no one's taking into consideration that just because you can hit this boss effectively the entire fight, nobody's talking about the fact that he has like bloated defense stats. So it doesn't matter if you're. So the issue that people have with the invulnerability phases is this like second order effect where because the boss is in an invulnerability phase, I can't do any damage to it and I can't accumulate any score to reach whatever score goal I'm trying to set for myself, be it like 20k or anything higher or even a boss kill. So here's the thing. If you play Wandering Hunter, just because you have a boss like Wandering Hunter that you can hit all the time doesn't fucking matter, because he has like bloated defense out the ass. So you're still going to get roughly the same amount of score anyway, unless you're using the shield character, be it Monoto or Yudari anyway. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's smoke and mirrors. If they decided one day from now, we're going to take the Thrall and we're going to get rid of all of his immunity phases. All of them. We're going to get rid of all of them. Do you seriously think that the ZZZ team is not going to inflate his HP to account for the fact that now you can just hit him all the time? Or they're going to bloat his defense? No, they're going to do that. When when you're asking for them to remove immunity phases, you're basically just asking, I want my score to be high. I want my score to be higher. That's all you're asking, because I'm sure there are some people who care about like taking out the immunity phases so they just have more time to fight and enjoy the boss, which I can understand. But I'm sure a lot of them are just pissy about their scores. If I'm being entirely honest here, that's my take on the matter. Anyway, let's pick up where I catch off. Let's see. Pattern recognition. Okay, yeah, no, we're on to the next paragraph. I think the Defiler is the single worst boss in the game. I used to hate Marionette. Okay, I'm curious why this guy hates the Marionette. And still, until I started thinking about Marionette as a dance instead of a brawl, and I realized I couldn't try and play faster than the boss without risking tripping on my own toes. I mean, you can play faster than the boss. It's just called play X, Y, and Z agent. That just kind of lets you just kind of auto dodge or immunity frame through it. I would love to see this guy's account for context to why he thinks Marionette was the worst boss, because in my opinion, my least favorite boss before Hunter was Pompeii, both versions of Pompeii. Defiler is the
funny
crown
because if we're talking DA, Pompeii intentionally withholds his I'm going to spin around for 20 seconds until you're right about to hit 20k, which for most people is their like default try and clear at 20k. I say most people.
The only way that you could get performance points with Pompeii, I believe there's two ways depending on which Pompeii you're fighting, but the more annoying Pompeii is the one where you have to do defensive assists to get your points. Defensive assists on a lot of agents are just a waste of time to do, and they're just not worth doing at all. So, and also I didn't have any fire agents, and he was fire weak, so go figure. Got pulled away just before your explanation on ALG. That's fair at this time. So I don't know the exact adjustments that were made to Anomaly in version 2.1. From what I recall, they slowed down the buildup, but they increased the damage to compensate. I'm not entirely sure what the intent behind that was. If it was supposed to somehow do more, be more damning to Miyabi without being too much of a hassle for the other characters. But it definitely looked bad when you adjusted the buildup, and then you sold people a character like Yuzuha who could effectively like undo that. I want bosses to kill me, not to waste my time. When Pompeii spins, I'm not in danger. Yeah. Well, that's I made tomato. I made this suggestion a while ago. Is that a way how I would fix Deadly Assault is allow players to tick an optional difficulty setting that doubles the score that they can get while in playing Deadly Assault, but it turns off flash telegraphs. So. And also raises the damage of the enemies like moderately, not severely, just moderately. So you could probably
hello Leone.
So hello Leone.
We're just kind of doing whatever.
The idea is that theoretically you could get a 20k score much easier than before, but now your skills are actually put to the test, and you actually need to be able to know when you need to dodge and when you need to parry certain boss moves. And it would feel more compelling to do, because if you do lose, it's probably because one of your agents takes too many hits and they die. You don't lose because you didn't optimize your combos or your damage rotations or like yada 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 blah blah blah. I gave Arikado to yeah. Anyways, let's get back to talk about Defiler. Crown Jewel of version 2 boss define as not 1, but not 2, but 3 phases where you're doing things that are just less engaging than everything else you're doing during the fight. Phase 2 of the Defiler, Giant Wave, is easily one of the worst anti-player mechanics I've seen in these games, designed to make clears with certain kinds of teams outright impossible. You parry the Defiler to knock her down, then you destroy an object to shield yourself. Then you parry Beyblade attack, then you parry goons. The entire fight becomes hitting spacebar when she flashes and letting it. If I'm being entirely honest, I think the biggest issue for Defiler is how many characters the Defiler nullifies, because she has so many anti-anomaly countermeasures, and then she also has immunity to ice. So when you have a boss that shuts you out of so many different characters you can use in the game, compared to the bosses that came previously, So players are stuck with characters they're not comfortable with, or characters that they don't have built properly, and they have to fight this boss over and over and over and over again because they're using characters that they normally wouldn't be using in Deadly Assault, and they're
That doesn't even include.
They're exposed to these invulnerability phases over and over and over. They get sick of it. I'm going to be entirely honest. I don't have an issue with the three invulnerability phases that the Defiler has. My issue with the invulnerability phases comes in when I have to do them over and over and over because I'm the only reason I'm stuck fighting Defiler for so long is because I don't have any characters to properly fight the Defiler because the Defiler just nullified all of my go-to picks.
That doesn't even include if the current debuff on the Deadly Assault boss fucks with your team, or that the 3 buffs you yourself can pick don't jive with any of your teams. That's all of that before we even take in the boss itself to account.
That much is to say that the version 2 DA boss roster lacks spontaneity, spontaneous gameplay in their movesets, and the fact that you no longer have to be faster or smarter than the boss has made them boring. The least offenders to this are Fiend and Hunter, but that isn't to say that they are good bosses, just that by virtue of having goodbye. That's just by virtue of having the least obnoxious of the cutscene chores they give you. They are the least bad. Fiend is crippling in how honest it is, as it doesn't even pretend like it's a cutscene phase of gameplay. You dodge it 6 times, run to the edge arena, and then get back to having actual fun. Begs the question why. For one, cinema sells, and this has amazing bosses is something how you'll want you saying, even if you personally... What the fuck? Okay. Let's try and go through this faster. I also think it stems from making it more apparent when you're fighting the bosses quote-unquote correctly. Consider the version 1 cast and their scoring requirements that disorder the boss. Dodge the boss, repair that. If you close out the fight with less than 5k performance points, it's easy to deduce, I should have done more disorders. The problem comes from then answering the question, where could I have done doing disorders that I wasn't? So this in my opinion is my biggest issue with the performance point system. This is my biggest issue with the performance point system for version 1 bosses in ZCC, is that there were multiple instances where I needed to do it, perform a specific action to get my performance points that I may not want to do at that specific time. Like specifically with Pompeii, when Pompeii says you need to parry for like 300 points each and you need like 5k worth of performance points. Well, what if I don't want to parry Pompeii at that specific time? What if I parry him too much and I'm out of assist points and now I got to get a stun off? Well, I'm not using a character who's like stun oriented. I'm not using like a stun character in my team because I'm running all anomaly. So what am I supposed to do? I'm just trying to get like one of my 2 stuns off on my anomaly teams. So that's kind of the thing about the performance points in version 2 bosses is that there are very clear set times within the fight where it's effectively designated as your moment to get your performance points. To be fair, Red Pompeii was made for Evelyn. I didn't own Evelyn. So I didn't own Evelyn until like version 2.2. Hello, Grandmides. I agree with Freckles. I'm gonna fall asleep. I like consulting Argos. Well, let's try and finish this up quickly, alright? I didn't realize this was gonna be so fucking long. Performance points declined to... Holy fuck. Okay, you know what? We might not even finish this. I should get him to wake up and just handle chat for a second. We'll say Wooba HP inflation has been legit the same for the past 3 months, 4 resets in both game modes. Might have put Gabby Moore out of a talking point. I don't know the situation with Hello Forest. I don't know the situation with Wuthering Waves' HP inflation. I just don't care about playing Wuthering Waves. I just don't think it's fun. Personally, gotta put that out there before people lose their shit. Yeah, okay, this shit is nothing. I'm gonna be honest. We're done here. This shit is nothing new. Like I've seen the conversation back and forth the whole time. I don't need to read the whole tweet. It's literally like it's literally the shit I've heard like from CCs and like Redditors and forum posters all the time. I don't need to read the whole thing. Have you watched Tuhu's new video? I did watch Tuhu's new video, and I thought it was a very entertaining video. I even left a comment on it.
And ironically went over to my bed and I put a timer on for 10 minutes to nap, and then I realized it's so fucking cold in this room. Can't even nap. What I miss.
It's not gonna love. Something tells me this person is not gonna love gacha games outside the big four. I play Stella, Sora, and Girls Frontline too. What are you talking about, Leone? Or are you talking about the? I think he's talking about the Twitter poster. I think Leone's talking about the Twitter poster. So I did happen to watch Tuhu's latest video just a little bit ago. This one right here. Do gacha content creators even play enough gacha? Just to kind of summarize this Tuhu video for y'all, is that Tuhu is talking about how there are way too many instances in gacha content creation, whether it be live streamers or YouTube makers, where despite the fact that these people play like gacha games for their full-time careers, they not only do they rarely ever branch out and explore other gacha games, like they only stay in their lane in like the big four almost exclusively, and it stifles like growing the space for like smaller games and smaller IPs, but also that despite the fact that these play these games full time, that there's a lot of misinformation that gets thrown around all the time.
Bro, I swear myself and a lot of the people in this chat have probably played more than these people that sit here that whine about, I don't know, Genshin all day and then play, I don't know, Wuwa all day or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. These creators that get paid to play these full time
of gachas I've tried. I played and tried for, I don't know, like
here's my, I just want to get my comment out of the way, because Tuhu to an extent is trying to rally the idea of creators being more open to playing more games, and being held accountable more for doing their research before discussing certain topics instead of just retreading the same old ground. And obviously, like he's gonna bring up like Tectone, Saint Tontas, briefly like mention Ethan and yada 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 and all that stuff. So this is my comment. I said, quote, "If we want the gacha space to have a second wind, then viewers need to support and uplift newer creators who are willing to offer said nuance. If they just come for rage bait and drama, then nothing will change, and the same kind of people will take charge of the narrative." So here's the thing about like misinformation and drama and like tribalism, yada yada yada, is that it takes two to tango. It takes a creator who's willing to perpetuate that stuff, and it takes viewers to support and spread that information for one reason or another. So if you have a creator who's trying to do his best to like make the space a healthier place, but the guy only has like 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers and averages like 400 views a video, then it doesn't matter, because the viewers don't care. They're not looking for that. They're not going to perpetuate that, and that content is just kind of like wilt and die out on its own, unfortunately, until one of two things. And at which point there is a higher likelihood of those people with like those nuanced opinions that could be what the space needs. They might just feel discouraged and just stop, or they might just keep going and just kind of have like low viewership, or they might cave and start covering drama content or whatever yada yada, doom posting, like exaggerative content, whatever. Psyche's DNA review was unilaterally a terrible review. Oh no, I'm sure of that. Thoughts on the Enfield gacha? I play Stellas. I had a conversation this morning with Fox. I might honestly make a video about it, but my opinion on the situation with the Enfield gacha, with the idea that if you do not pull 120 times, you lose the pity and then it goes over the next banner. I know there's some other nuance to it, but the main talking point is the 120 pity that doesn't carry over. My opinion on that,
it doesn't carry over, is a fucking killer. That is so retarded that they're not changing that.
Really, you're on that side of the camp.
I said that. Okay, let me say this again, because I know I've said this before. If your gacha game in 2025 does not include carryover pity when the banner ends, you do not understand the vast majority of people that play these games. Now, sure, the whales are going to be the ones that finance them. But if you increase the amount of people playing, you increase the potential of getting a whale naturally. So when you create a gacha game like this, there are so many instances of people trying to go for a character, whether it be free to play or even, you know, they want to spend, but they're unsure, right? And then let's say they are so far away from the pity that they're just like, I'll come back later kind of deal, right? They know that they're going to keep playing. They'll come back later, right? If you say your pity doesn't carrying over, you're actively saying to most people that play these games, which is most of them, like Z, who came back to Girls Frontline 2, like I just told you earlier today, Ari, if he had no carryover pity from when he last played, while trying to get Kyuho right now, he would have probably at this point realized, oh, there's no carryover pity. Why the fuck am I even playing? This type of, you know, strategy really, really, really does not enforce players to want to come back later. Because when they come back later after either, I don't know, like failing a 50-50 or getting really close, but there's literally only half a day left and they got to go to bed for work, well, they're not going to come back because they just had a sour taste in their mouth of putting all this effort in and, in this instance, actually getting nothing out of it. It is a terrible idea, and any game that does it in this day and age basically deserves to kill over instantly.
Okay, so now that you've gotten that point out of the way, and I'm gonna be honest, yes, I'm sure we're aware of like that perspective. It's been talked about to death. I'm gonna provide my perspective, and I'm just gonna give it to you straight. And this is gonna come off as like a very selfish move. Okay, as someone who understands these systems inside and out and also has money to play around with, the idea of being able to pull a character and get it at 120, which is assuming the exact same like money to pull conversion rates, or like pull we're assuming like the pull income in Enfield is going to be roughly the same as a Hoyoverse game. So theoretically, if that is the case, then you would get a character at 120 compared to Hoyo games, where if you lose a 50-50, you could be going upwards to like in like the 160s or 170s. So being able to effectively shave off like 20 or 30 pulls that you would normally have to put towards if you lose a 50-50 on a character to get a character guaranteed at 120 via the Spark system, I love it personally because it benefits me, an educated person who's been in this space for years now. So with that being said, at this point, I'm sick of 50-50s, and I will happily take a 120 Spark system, carry over or not. I don't care if there's a carryover or not. If I'm being entirely honest, I just want a guarantee. I just want a 120 guarantee over like a 160, 170 guarantee if you lose a coin flip. All right, and I am willing to burn bridges for it. Like if you don't take the time to educate yourself on what the fuck a gacha game is, and you come in here and you get screwed over, natural selection, baby. You should have known who you got in bed with.
Right, but do you think Enfield can afford to take that hit when it's suffered numerous
we don't know that.
examples
we don't know
of
that.
people, you know, slandering the game because they feel cheated out of the game that everybody was excited to get, and it just became a Genshin clone? Do you think they can afford to have that type of negative publicity on top of the pre-existing negative publicity, which is already on top of the fact that people like me were excited for this game when it was announced 3 years ago? It still hasn't come out, and it's basically still have no speculation of when it will come out. And at this point, it's a Frankenstein's monster of things that tomato.
I said it was gonna be a hot take.
What the hell it is at this point? Like this game is not the Xenoblade, you know, continuously updated variants that I originally thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a Xenoblade-like experience too, but it's not because the post Hoyo and post Kuro community descended upon it and tore it to shreds. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't give a shit. I honestly don't give a shit about Arknight's Enfield. It is like 1 foot in the grave for me. I don't care I honestly just don't care what happens to Arknight's Enfield right now, because I'm probably not even going to put that much time into it when it comes out. I'll probably dabble in it, but then I'll just stop.
More of these devs should have put their fucking foot down, man. More of these devs should have held their ground with their fucking ideas.
So going back to the gacha for a second. So will this cause a massive hit on casual players? Yes, but you have to remember that these games are funded by the big spenders. I myself, as a big spender, am incentivized to push for this system because it means I get cheaper characters at the end of the day when they come out on banners. And also,
but it's better to cast a bigger net, though.
Also, if someone can confirm this, I thought I heard somewhere that event banners in Arknight's Enfield are gonna last longer than 3 weeks. Correct me if I'm wrong. I heard information that suggests that banners in a single banner in Arknights is going to last upwards of a month or even more. So if it's longer, then again, as that could mean a few things. One, if the pull income is on the same level of a Hoyoverse game, and it's a month long, that's more time to put towards putting polls for a specific character. And if you're someone who spends money like me, that's more time for you to make money at your real life job to then put towards characters in these games.
Leone, let's just be entirely honest. I think the vast majority of the gacha market that isn't already engaging in one of the big four, or is just engaging in only, like,
characters stay on for at least 2 more banners before disappearing. And how long are banners? Are banners like 2 or 3 weeks?
I think everybody pretty much has the same wavelength that Anata and NTE is the only things people are looking at right now, and everything else is just getting forgotten about, especially since, like, I think Arknight's Enfield was, like, the only one that really had the potential draw to, like, keep people's attention, but because of, again, taking too long to come out, and all the back and forth of what the game is going to look like in the end, I think it has unironically soiled what could have been a third game people were anticipated looking for. Maybe not as many people as Gacha GTA, but still. By the way, guys, real quick, I wanted to say, I do not believe in the whole gacha games getting rid of the gacha. I don't think this is going to work. I think they're going to attempt it for a year, maybe 2 years.
It's going to be a trend that'll fizzle and die out.
It will fizzle out insanely fast because they realize that the, games that these companies have been building their reputations on for over a decade now, gacha, they're just going to go back to it because A, they know it works, B, it's fucking money, and at the end of the day, nobody's making a gacha game because players really like gambling. They're making a gacha game because they know it makes money. Like, it's just like, what are we even talking about? You had your chance to have a game company try and make games without gacha that were high of quality. Their name was MiHoYo, and they almost sank super early. Then they added in gacha, and look where they are now. They are the gold standard. Why would somebody want to go make the bronze standard? Now, granted, Anata is in that category, so it's going to be very interesting to see what they do, considering all eyes are on them.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in Enfield since they decided fuck you for being a Xenoblade enjoyer, despite the fact that Genshin literally built its success off of copying a Nintendo IP. I guess Enfield doesn't have the balls to do the same thing, and is just going to scurry back to the trend chasing. So I don't care. I don't care about Zen. I don't care about
Xenoblade 2, unironically, is kind of a shit game in a lot of regards. But people fucking love.
Yeah, no, there are diehard Xenoblade 2
fans.
There are people who think Xenoblade 2. There are people who think Xenoblade 2 is the best game, and I have no idea what to say. I think if anyone knows Rurikon, who's like a diehard Monster Hunter fan, Xenoblade 2 is his favorite game, and I'll never understand why. I'm personally a Xenoblade 3 fan. There's so many
Xenoblade 2 fans. There are so many people thirsty over Pyramytha all day, every day.
No. I'm gonna
grab that audience by the balls, and they just let it go.
Xenoblade 2. I'm gonna be honest. Xenoblade 2's gacha is awful. The reason why I don't like Xenoblade's gacha system is the fact that you can pull for a character on, you can pull for a blade on one character, and that their like auto attack move set is so radically different, or even like their skills at their disposal is so radically different from character to character, that it might brick the blade that you pull it on. But you can't transfer them to another character unless you have like this really rare resource that's like finite in like the vanilla game until like you get to all the way to like end game. So like at that, you could literally just have like really just a really bad like save file to the point where you need to grind more than other players because you made bad decisions or you got bad pulling luck. So yeah,
I want to temp check the audience right now. You know, one of my many temp checks. Are you guys getting as tired of waiting for new characters in new gacha games as I am? I think I am well past that. I am getting to that point where these gachas need to release their characters faster. Now, this could be again, this is a temp check. I am someone who has disposable income. I acknowledge that I'm not like a lot of the people that probably want to play free to play and, you know, safely garner currency. But I'm getting so tired of playing these games at their least content filled, aka their first version. And usually that version's content will be basically done in less than a month. And then I have basically nothing to look forward to. And yes, this doesn't mean that if they suddenly release the characters faster that there would then be more content. But inherently, it's like with Wuthering Waves. Initially with Wuthering Waves, I wanted not any really of the characters in version 1. I wanted Camilla like everybody else. I first see Camilla when the game first came out and I was like, I want Camilla. But at the same time, I acknowledge that if I didn't pull on anybody, if I just sat there and waited for Camilla, I would have probably dropped the game. So I got Genshin, who was the first banner on the first patch, right? The patch after, not the release version.
First banner of second patch.
Loved Genshin, but at the same time, I acknowledge that me getting Genshin was purely because if I don't get a character now, I'm not going to hold out for the character I actually want later, and that's where I'm getting with these other gacha games.
My only character was a dupe 5 Chixia because during version 1, every time I pulled a 4-star and I finally thought I had somebody to play around with whilst playing through like the game at its newest and shiniest moment, I would get another fucking Chixia and I'd be stuck using that pistol bitch for the entire time I was playing through like version 1 of Wuwa. It absolutely soured my opinions of the game, considering I was already tuckered out from having quit Genshin a while, like shortly before.
Bro, as a gambling addiction, absolutely not. I have an addiction to the things that I like, and I liked Camilla, but Camilla wasn't there then. Now, again, it wasn't until Genshin was in my hands and a year and a half of playing for me to realize, man, Genshin really is my favorite character in the game. But I had to get to that point. What I'm trying to say is, like Stellasaur is the best example I can give of this.
I just want to briefly hold on. Can I just quickly say something? So somebody earlier said about the possibility of you being able to lose 50/50s perpetually on Enfield until you hit the 120 spark. I know. I play Stellasaura. I literally 2 days ago did 20 pulls on the Fuyuka banner and I got 2 5-stars and neither of them was Fuyuka. So I'm well aware of that, by the way. I still prefer that system. It's just, but the reason why I don't spend money in Stellasaur is, in my opinion, I think it's just a bad value proposition from like the dollar to pull ratio.
It is terrible. It's the old fashioned.
It's a really bad ratio. And also I want to correct something that Saint said in his Enfield Gotcha video where he said that Stellasaura, he briefly said that Stellasaura got dogpiled on because it had a Enfield-like gotcha system. I don't think that's true. I think the reason why Stellasaura got the reason Stellasaura got dogged on was because they doubled the currency requirement for a single pull in like the last beta before the game came out. Now, if you go look on like certain social media circles, the narrative is slightly twisted, and the thought is that the currency cost got doubled right before the game launched. I don't know which one's true, but you can take a guess which narrative got pushed into the mainstream and what effectively like killed Stellasaur's ability to have like a mainstream audience. I still play it. I spent $8 on the battle pass to get like a really good weapon, but that's about it. That's all I intend to spend on Stellasaur, but I want to keep playing it because I actually am kind of enjoying playing it as like super casual. Okay, you can continue.
I think what kills Stellasaur more is the fucking lack of fucking content in it, on top of the fact that it has no right to make you wait there for 3 weeks for a new character. There's not enough here. There's not enough. And sure, again, if a new character came out, it wouldn't necessarily add content instantaneously. They probably wouldn't add brand new character cons. Maybe they would. Maybe they intentionally hold off like new playable content intentionally to wait for a new character. Speed that shit up. What I was trying to say earlier,
They're stagnating. They're stagnating.
Please.
I just want.
What I was trying to say with Stella Sora is that you see multiple characters immediately upon just like doing the second chapter of the game. It, in a weird way, almost feels like it's trying to hint at like expansion versions in the future with like big, factions and groups and all that and stuff like that. I want Willow. She is, you can see her as an NPC in the story. You can see her in the NPC of certain character stories. You can see her in the fucking Cataclysm game mode. You can see, I think, her sister in the Boss Blitz game mode. You can then see her in 2 different disc arts. You can see this character everywhere. I want that character right now. They teased that character. That character had art available just like 20 other characters before the game came out. I want to play that character. But if I don't get a character, I'm not going to be able to mentally last playing this game with characters that I personally am half-baked in my attention to. That's why when Shia randomly came out that nobody knew she was going to come out in a very weird, we're going to do a summer event all of a sudden, which, let's be honest, the summer event was them pushing it forward in an attempt to cool people's distaste for the game by giving them an event that can give a bunch of fucking free currency. That's why the summer event in Shia happened. It's intentionally to give something for people to do and an excuse to throw a bunch of currency at them.
This is Shia, by the way.
We didn't know about. This is a character we did not know about beforehand. Now, initially, I was kind of lukewarm on this character, but just like Genshin, I did their trial, realized, holy shit, they summoned a bunch of drones and shoot a bunch of fucking... They have a Hammer of fucking Dawn ultimate from Gears of War. So I got this character, and I really enjoyed this character, and I'm going to max this character. I'm saving all my currency now for a Shia rerun.
This character is Willow. This is Willow, by the way, the character that my brother was talking about.
They've shown this character by their no leaks. This is official things they have shown along with other official characters before the fucking game even came out. All right, I'm waiting for Willow, and if Shia didn't come out, I would have probably quit the game right now. Shia is my Genshin in the sense that I am using her as a means to wait for the character I actually want. So anyway, as I'm trying to say, long story short,
and this is the character I want right. This is the character I want right now.
I'm getting to the point where I want these games to improve their patch speeds, okay? They can slow them down at some point if they want to in the future, but you need to you need to do your onboarding in your first year game version much fucking faster. We are at a point with gacha that it is so filled with way too many options right now, and unless something tickles your fancy, like Girls Frontline tickled my fancy, where I'm okay with Girls Frontline, not speeding up because, well, I mean, technically,
Girls Frontline is speeding up. They're going crazy right now.
Yeah, but that game is a unique game that I really enjoy playing, but not everybody can say the same for that or the other games that they play. So they need to speed this shit up because I feel like the initial process of introducing people to these games or to inherently to your specific game is just not working out anymore. This shit needs to go faster so you can get people into the idea of what they're going to be looking for in the future rather than doing this whole 3-week thing, because this is played out. Every game does the 3-week one. But the problem is that everyone's already playing one of the big 4s at the same time. So why do they want to go to the other one when they already have their attention with the big 4, albeit whether they're playing one of the big 4s begrudgingly or they're like me and they will pretty much play Genshin Impact until EOS every single day constantly because they love that game. Insert your version here, whether it's Star Rail, Wuwa, or ZZ. Freckles being delusional for an NPC? Hey, all right? You gotta have a little bit of faith. And that's the only reason why I fucking keep, I say playing the game. It's literally just launching it for 2 minutes. I blow all my stamina on disc because it takes so long to fucking upgrade anything past fucking 70 that it takes like a fucking week that you don't even have gameplay. You have 2 minutes of logging in, fucking blow it all on a boss material for a disc, and then you exit out. There's nothing you can do in this game. It's terrible.
I'll repeat what I said right now, Kaiser. I'm enjoying playing Stella Sora right now, very casually. If it keeps going and improves, then that's great. I get to have more content, and I get to have a better game. If it ends the services, that's also great. I have one less gacha I have to play. Should I get into Stella Sora right now? Give it a shot. Just give it a shot. There's nothing really to lose. There's a lot of if nothing else, Pyro, if nothing else, I would recommend keeping an eye on it. And if a character comes out soon that's you want, you should maybe get in and start re-rolling your account to get that character, because 5 stars in Stellasora are a 2% chance. So, and you start the game with like 20 pulls after like 10 minutes of a tutorial. So you could just re-roll until you get like a 5-star you want on banner when they come around, and then you could just start your journey from there. And following that line of thought, the beginner event in Stellasora is you get to do 20 10 pulls for free. And you get to then pick one of those 10 pulls that you did, and you get to keep whatever you got. And this includes 5 stars. There's also 2 events for beginners that let you claim 2 free 5-star discs, and then there's another event on top of that lets you get another 5-star standard character. So starting, assuming that event content from launch is still there, I'm pretty sure some of it is still there, if not all of it, then you're looking at being able to start Stellasora at any time with 2 standard 5-star characters and 2 standard 5-star weapons. And also events in Stellasora, at least as of right now, we've only had 2 major events since launch. The shop will always have 1 5-star disc that you can purchase directly using currency that you use from participating and spending stamina in the events. So, assuming that trend continues, then 5-star discs, weapons or discs shouldn't be an issue either, theoretically, for a majority of content. You can save up to 5 slots of the 20 temples. I realize I'm throwing around a lot of numbers. It's getting confusing. Stellasora isn't improving though. Well, hey, if Zombie, if it continues in the direction of not improving, then and it EOS's, then okay, I've got one less gotcha to play. That's all there is to it. Yo, what was the character you showed? Which one? Willa?
Brown hair or pink hair with surfboard?
Or white hair? Yeah, Pyro, if you want to repeat.
Elf demon thingy. Which one, Pyro?
Yeah, I have to pull them up. Oh, Elora?
That's yours then.
Yeah, let me pull it up for a second. Eloria, this character, right? Let me pull it up right here. Eloria, this character is in a leak for the game, but if I recall correctly, she's on her way. She's on her way very soon. I don't know how soon, but oh, get out of my face.
Stellasora really needs.
She is a support, so I'm assuming this character. So here's what I'm gonna do when this Elora character comes out. I'm going to pull her, and then I'm going to use her with this 4-star character by the name of Cosette. Now they both come from the same faction. They're both dark element characters, and as far as I'm aware, Cosette is a dark main slot DPS. So I think these two will pair fine.
That's a support.
Really? Because I saw a spreadsheet. There's a public spreadsheet on the Stellasora subreddit. You want to have Cosette in your main slot, and then you want to have Mystique. You want to have Mystique and Elora.
And that's probably just based on like effectiveness values.
Yeah. Okay, so hold on. How much shit do I need to pull up? So
Cosette did feel pretty effective as a main slot.
So it would be Cosette main. This is my plan. Cosette main, Mystique, who's a standard 5-star, as a support, and then Elora will be the second support as a limited 5-star. So that's the plan. That is my plan. And I actually happen to have just pulled.
No, we did not play Tribe 9. I don't even know what the hell that is.
No, I did not get a chance to play Tribe 9. I kind of wish.
When he's done saying his thing, I'm going to actually mention every gacha game I've played. I made the list.
I won't be activating any marks with that team. Zhao, I will figure it out later, okay? I will figure it out later.
Don't worry, Zhao. This guy has been trying to tell me some of the quote-unquote best teams don't even involve mark activation, and I just don't believe him any day of the week.
I just said I play the game fucking casually, so why are you taking whatever I say as gospel? You have higher progression than me. Gospel. Why are you talking about it?
Yeah, that's another problem with Stellasora. Every Stellasora team is a mono team, and I don't mean that as in like, oh, this is the most effective team. No, I mean that as literally, if you do not make a mono team in this game, your damage is so kneecapped, it's fucking hilarious.
Well,
And
no,
I mean, including if
Tilia,
you're using
Tilia,
shitty stars.
Tilia, you can use off element.
Yeah, because yes, Ari, there are a ton of characters that have generic attack buffs, but the main gameplay loop of Stellasora, full stop, for every team, the best way to play every team, and we're talking like the difference between killing in a minute and killing in fucking 2 minutes, is you need to have characters off field that can apply a mark specific to the element, and you need the characters also of that same element that can be on field to trigger the mark, This isn't like other games with elements where one person can trigger a different mark like Disorder or Genshin's elemental system. This is literally, you need to put a fire mark and a fire character that
Aziji, we're just talking about Stellasora stuff.
If you mix any other extra elements in there, it is a massive drop in DPS. It is fucking disgustingly annoying. The damage difference between doing a full mono team and not doing a full mono team is a joke.
Kaiser, can you send me his your friend's YouTube handle so I can confirm? Because I'm gonna be entirely honest. For months ago when I was getting like a lot of hate for all the dumb shit I was saying, I definitely did go on like quite a few like shadow ban sprees. So I if you could DM me. Oh wait, it's right there. Okay, let me confirm.
Can I give, while you're figuring that out, can I say the list of all the gachas I've played without interruption?
Sure.
In case you had those questions. Okay, guys. So, I'm not a gacha creator. I never go on the internet to look at things related to gacha. And, you know, we made the comment earlier that we believe that some of these gacha creators don't even play, like, anything outside of, like, you know, the big four, aka big three, because they hate Genshin Impact. Let me tell you the fucking gachas I've played. I have played 13 gacha games over the last 5 years, and these games I've played at least longer than, if not close to a month, okay? Genshin Impact, Honkai Impact 3rd, Epic 7, I've mentioned that one quite a bit, Princess Connect, which did EOS for global, Outer Plane, which for some reason is still going. It's just basically shitty Epic 7, Star Rail, Nikkei, as in Goddess of Victory, yes, Zenless Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves, Stellasora, Chaos Zero Nightmare, Tower of Fantasy, and Snowbreak Containment Zone. I have played 13 of these games. You have a mix of turn-based games, action adventure open world games, turn-based, did I say turn-based already? MMO, third-person shooter, roguelike card game, and then shitty arcade shooter game, which would be Nikkei. You can list mine. All you guys can list all the ones you played if you want to. I can only handle Honkai Star Rail. LOL. I mean, I think everybody can. Honkai Star Rail, unironically, if you want to talk like Big Four, probably still has like the highest player retention. Maybe not after some of those.
It's been
but
so.
It has the highest player retention because people go in, they press auto on their stamina, and then they just come back later.
Dude, I fucking hate trying to traverse the interface for YouTube shit. I have no idea where the fuck I'm looking to try and check where I even shadow ban people. Like, where the fuck is it? I can't see the chat right now because on my second monitor I just have. I don't want to watch a fucking video. Can someone?
Arikado is too old for you. Zombie, one of these days, Zombie, we need to mod you so that way when people come in here and start talking shit, you ban them because their shit talking is not good enough. It needs to be better.
Community moderation, user management.
You will be the arbiter, the judge, jury, and executioner of true shit talkery. Okay. And anybody else that comes in and says like, "I hope your mom dies," you'll be there to say, you need to say how they die. You need to say how that. This is really bad. In case one of our moms.
I don't have Shirun on my hidden user list. There is nobody on my hidden user list that's called Shirun.
Anyway, I'm gonna read chat's gacha game experience. Every recent one I've played feels like an ass to upkeep. Don't worry, that's all of them. Just pick which one that you like enough to do it, and find a random podcast or random video to put on the background when you do it. First gacha was Fate Go.
Kaiser, I'm not seeing Shirun in my listing. Can you do they have like a handle? You know how like users have like have like another handle on their YouTube account where it's like @ and then a name? Can you check to see if that's separate from like what you sent me? Because you might have just sent me the wrong thing.
Any one of them you quit yet, or did you still play all of them frequently? The only gachas out of that list that I still play to this day are Genshin, Honkai Impact 3rd, Zenless Zone 0, and well, I guess Chaos Zero Nightmare, but that's more like a recent development. Oh, I forgot Girls Frontline 2 in the list. How could I fucking forget Girls Frontline 2 in the list? I played 14 of these. Girls Frontline 2. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, I pretty much quit all of them except for Genshin, Honkai Star Rail. I might have said Impact 3rd I'm into. Genshin, Star Rail, ZZZ, and Girls Frontline 2, and then Chaos Zero Nightmare. The rest of them have pretty much been quit, or I go to sporadically, like after a year or so, and check back on them. For instance, I have reinstalled TOF 2 weeks ago, and I've been just kind of like mucking around with it. I haven't done the new
Kaiser, I found them. Kaiser, I found them, by the way.
And
whatever I muted you, Shirun, if you're there, whatever I muted you for, I don't fucking remember. I muted a bunch of people at a period of time. Wander under the bridge. There you are. Okay.
2 players. When I think Dust 2, I think of CS:GO. Sorry, Jay.
Okay. My apologies. My apologies for that. Anyways, I was
Dragalia Lost was lit. I actually wanted to.
Oh, good.
That
okay,
one.
thank you.
I was too late. I do love AFK Journey. Talk about gacha games having soft stories with no stakes. Every time I see AFK Journey, my reaction is, "Where's the journey?" Like I saw like an hour of gameplay of that game. I can't take it.
Oh shit! I just opened my Steam by accident. I'm curious. Can I actually like search? Oh no. I wonder. Can I?
Who's Shirun and why'd you ban them?
I don't know. I'm looking. I'm seeing if I can look them up. I want to see if I can look them up.
Are you excited for Chizuru? Not really. It's another striker. I don't need another striker, but she's hot. So yes, I am.
I wonder if there's a way to like look up individual comments. Okay, let's try. I want to try. Let's.
Hey, look, everybody found the time to make their list. I'm gonna read everybody's list now. Actively playing Azure Lane, Toho Lost Word, Honkai Star Rail, Verse 1999, Genshin Impact, Blue Archive, Eversoul, Arknights, ZZ, Girls Frontline 2, Stella Sora, and Trick Cal. I've actually never heard of Trick Cal. You're saying actively playing, which scares me. But obviously that could just mean you pick one of them up every 3 days. I have a similar list. AL. What's AL? I don't know. Fate Go.
Azure Lane. It's Azure Lane. It's Azure Lane.
Right. Azure Lane. Fate Go. Honkai Impact 3rd. What's G... Genshin Impact. Honkai Star Rail. ZZ. And AK. What's AK? I don't know what AK is.
Arknights.
And some
Arknights. It's Arknights.
Oh, okay. And some other games I've stopped playing and didn't bother remembering them, lol. Stopped playing Nikkei, Blue Protocol. Wait, this is from Geo. That means you are actually actively playing them. I have pity on your soul. Anyway, stopped playing Nikkei, Blue Protocol, Pokemon Masters, Pokemon TCG, Fire Emblem Heroes, Revived Witch, Princess Connect, Neuro Cloud, Tower Fantasy, Echo Gazer.
I remember when we played I turned on Fire Emblem Heroes and claimed like a few things just for some shit in Fire Emblem Engage. It's still on my phone. Fire Emblem Heroes is still on my phone. I've not touched that shit.
Dude, we need to get Geopan. If we ever do like anything with viewers, we need to get Geopan in there. This guy really knows what he's talking about.
I don't know about that, man. Anyway, I wanted to briefly mention this. So, Glaive Kiyos put out an apology video, and as far as I'm aware from the Genshin Impact community, people did not like his response, And even Bran Online, who's like a primarily like Genshin creator or like pro Hoyoverse creator, as far as I'm aware, even Bran reacted to the video, and the video's just called "He Apologized" in quotations. But the funny thing is that this is not the original. This is not the original title of the video. I know Bran Online. At least I believe Bran Online is a guy who kind of like pulls his punches a bit when it comes to like critiquing or talking about people. But someone posted in a Discord server I'm in the video before the title got changed. Hold on, what? The vid title's A/B tested. Oh well, this is the original. This is the title I saw. This apology is terrible. Genshin Impact 6.2 discussion. So that's pretty funny.
Kaisar, Fate Go quit. Azure Lane Q, Arknights Q. I don't know what the Q means. I love Reed though. Epic 7. Oh, Q's quit.
Saint reacted to him earlier. Okay.
And a ton of other dabbles. Only play Wuwa and Nikke right now, but Nikke is low-key falling off. Nikke always had an amazing fucking story from my experience of playing Nikke, but I can imagine that eventually there's only so much you can do with a story, and that goes for any game. It's insane that Genshin's managed to go 5 years, but to be fair, they literally planned that out from the very beginning. The moment you hear fucking Snezhnaya. So
do you think my brother could even watch the Glaive Kyo apology without having any context of who Glaive is? Or I'm curious.
What, do you want me to watch a video and have no context to it because I don't know anything about this space?
That's why I'm asking chat if you could somehow watch the video without needing context beforehand of who Glaive is.
Is this going to be like a live react? Ari Bro style?
I mean, we're not doing anything else right now. I can stream it.
How long is this video?
Let's check. Glaive Kyo. Just to give my personal opinions, I'm not someone who particularly like dislikes Glaive Kyo. I've rarely interacted with him. This is a 12-minute video, by the way. It's called I Owe You an Explanation.
All you need to know is that Glaive is a Genshin creator who has reservations about the game. Well, when you sign the contract to make content on YouTube for gacha games, doesn't it say in the clause?
No. He's not part of the Hoyoverse program. He's not part of the Hoyoverse program.
I have a feeling even people in the Hoyoverse program probably shit on Genshin. Like, again, that's the perception that I get as a Genshin player that likes Genshin when I go online to Genshin, is that everybody hates Genshin. Even people sanctioned by MiHoYo are told by MiHoYo to go hate on Genshin. Like, it's crazy. Like, you cannot go anywhere. And again, it's not like I actively seek Genshin content or seek positive Genshin content or any content whatsoever. It just comes to you anyway.
Glaive was
everyone.
By the way, Glaive is the guy I made the meme video about with the so they lost character progression, character bus behind
Isn't
quest.
He also the same guy that you put in the Skirk poll video that complained about the attachments or whatever?
Oh, like that 10-second bit? Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Inazuma is still terrible. As someone with a C6 R5 Raiden, I will have to stand on tribalism and tell you, no, Inazuma is not terrible.
Inazuma's all right.
Also, fucking Leeway is dog shit, and everyone needs to wake the fuck up.
Yeah. Version 1 to 1.1 Leeway, that's where the problem is, okay? Bitches want to be out here like
everyone
Inazuma
out here
was
saying,
terrible.
"Oh, Raiden,
Sure.
she went on a date with Raiden Shogun." Meanwhile, everyone fucking sucking Zhongli's dick about, yes, Zhongli, I'll buy perfumes for your dead self. I'll buy flowers for your funeral. Yeah, this isn't a date summit. This isn't a date somehow. Oh, come on, give me your Geo cock pillar.
Everybody out here want to say that the 2 hours with Yoimiya was boring, and then also want to say that, Kokomi's little battle on the shoreline, it only had like 10 troops. It didn't have like 300 troops. It's like, sure, whatever. But then you're going to sit there and just completely ignore 1.0 Leeway and 1.1 Leeway? Get the fuck out of here, man. We were in the trenches back then, and we didn't like it back then. And people want to sit here and complain about Inazuma to this day.
Like Inazuma is like some great turn your brain off like 5 out of 10 story. Like you get to see war, you get to see a fucking hot bitch in a kimono slash some Russian chick with a lightning sword. You then fight that pink that purple haired kimono woman in like a Torii Gate sand.
Both were bad, yes, but there is
some clear favoritism going on.
There's an annoying discrepancy in which part is being focused on. That's our point. Kahazaha pairing Raiden was peak, though. I think Lu Wei is the worst. Again,
yes, I agree. I agree.
My opinion is always when the Shenhe story came around, it got better. Okay? It wasn't amazing, but it got better. Okay? The Shenhe story did a lot to carry Lu Wei back up.
Pyro, we're talking about random bullshit.
So am I watching this apology video with no context? Wait, why am I even doing this? Why am I watching an apology video as the certified singular Genshin defender in this little community you've created? Why am I watching an apology video from some guy I don't even fucking know?
I thought it was gonna be funny. I mean, do you have something
How
else?
long is this video? How long is
12
this video?
minutes and 34 seconds.
Fast forward this shit. Put it on 2x speed.
Okay, fine.
Yes, put it on 2x speed. If I'm watching this, put the shit on 2x speed.
Great. Let's hope you can react pretty quickly.
I can't react quickly because I'm watching it through fucking YouTube.
I'm going to stream it. Baby bitch. Where the fuck is my Discord? Share your screen. This one. There you go. I'll turn the volume on. I don't know how loud
There's no spoilers in here for any like new content, is there?
I don't fucking know. You mean to tell me you
2 days ago? All right.
You mean to tell me you haven't been keeping up with the content?
What content?
So that's a no, right?
Next patch. Next patch.
How should I know? Hold on.
Right.
How should I fucking know? I don't play Genshin. This just looks like trailers. This looks like trailer B-roll.
Yeah, I don't want to watch Durian. I don't want to watch trailers.
Then just
I'll listen to it. I'll listen. Yeah, I'll just listen. I won't actually look at it. I'll listen while looking at chat, okay?
Okay, okay, great. I hope you can pay attention at 2x speed. Actually, hold on. We're going to put it at 1.5 for a second because I don't know how well you'll be able to understand Glaive's voice at 2x speed.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not going to be looking at the screen, so listening is all I'm going to be doing. No new story spoiler stuff? Bullshit. I saw a Durian little thing, and that's enough for me.
For the past few days, there has been a narrative going around that I am a tourist, an outsider who doesn't play the game, doesn't care about
what
the
does
lore,
tourist mean again?
Tourist basically is like a variation of like skill, at least in my opinion, it's like a variation of skill issue, but it leans more towards like you haven't invested enough, you don't invest enough time in these games, so therefore your opinion is that of an outsider, and therefore it should be weighed differently from someone who's more dedicated to the game. That is my opinion of a tourist.
God. These people, man. These people are the reason why they're not taken seriously and why content creators get like fucking 10 views. Tourist? Just fucking play a video game and just stop playing it when you don't want to play it. God's sakes, continue the video.
No, they're saying Glaive is a tourist because
I don't care. Whoever made tourist is stupid. Whoever keeps using the word tourist is stupid. Just play the game or don't play the game.
I don't think I've ever called one. I don't think I've ever called someone a tourist myself, but I think it's a funny term if you ask me.
You're all losers. Just play the video.
Why am I a loser? I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny. What do you think is funny right now? What do you think is what's your idea of funny? 6-7? Is that your idea of funny?
No, don't make the chat start spamming 6-7.
Hey. I didn't say anything about the chat spamming it. Now you did, dumbass.
Right, but it's like it's like a trigger. You've played the video.
Because I got a few facts wrong. And usually when a content creator goes into a situation like this, the instinct is to double down, to make a clapback video, turn up the saturation, and start awards of farm engagements. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know that is exactly what I've been doing over there. I've been fanning the flames and laughing at the backlash because frankly...
Oh, should I pull back to show the tweets?
Engagements. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know that is exactly what I've been doing over there. I've been fanning the flame.
What?
He's just been baiting. This is some pretty like tame bait if you ask me. Here before that side of the fandom calls her gay, Hoyoverse created hair colors, it's happening. Okay. This is some pretty tame bait if you ask me.
and laughing at the backlash because frankly, seeing people lose their minds over blatant rage bait tweets was funny to me. But here on this channel, I am not doing that. Because while Twitter is a circus, this channel is where I actually care. And the truth is, regarding the video I posted here, the community was right on a few specific points. I let my exhaustion and my frustration cloud my accuracy, and I made mistakes that I need to own up to. However, on the core issues, the system, the monetization, and the direction of the game, I haven't changed my mind. In fact, there is a reaction to my video, and it only convinced me that we need to have this conversation even more. So today, I want to clear the air. I want to apologize for where I was wrong, correct the record on where I was right, and explain why being a disappointed fan is not the same thing as being a fake one. Now let's talk about the state of Genshin Impact. To have an honest conversation about the state of the game, I have to start by being honest about my own work. In my last video, I made a specific claim about the history.
I can attest to quote unquote state, okay? Because I'm somebody who doesn't play for monetization or views or try to make content 24/7. I'm somebody who plays daily for the love of the game, okay? But I also don't sit there and pretend like the game is perfect with no single issue. So I can attest to anything he says, and I can fucking cancel out anything he says that is fucking retarded. So go.
Of 0.2 patches, calling them filler. Looking back at the timeline, Dragon Spine in version 1.2 and all of the 0.2 versions going forward, that statement was objectively incorrect. I was wrong. The truth is,
wait, what was filler?
Version 6.
Oh no, just pull back. Just let me re-listen to it. You know what? Fuck it. Put it at 1x speed. This deserves my attention if I'm gonna try and like critique him. Okay.
Fake one. Now let's talk about the state of Genshin Impact. To have an honest conversation about the state of the game, I have to start by being honest about my own work. In my last video, I made a specific claim about the history of 0.2 patches.
So he's basically saying that any version patch that's 0.2, 1.2, 2.2, 3.2, yada 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 is a filler
Oddly
patch.
fucking specific. What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean filler patch? 0.2s have usually been when the stories fucking end for the respective country, and they include like a fucking new area to explore.
I wouldn't know because
the only exception would be Natlin, because Natlin ended in 6.4.
Didn't Inazuma end in 2.1 because that was the Raiden Shogun patch and the Kokomi patch, and it ended there? Now.
What? Oh, no, wait. You are correct for Inazuma.
What was 2.2?
2.1 was
what was
the
2.2?
This is the Freckles
Genshin
React channel? You're
2.2.
damn right it is. Welcome.
What was... Oh, it was the... Wait, 2.2 was a filler patch. It was the labyrinth mode. You know, when Genshin came out first with a roguelike and then did nothing with it.
No, that is true. But
this patch was awesome, by the way. This was awesome.
Yeah, it was actually a good patch. That mode was fun. The 0.2 for Sumeru was the finale. It was the Nahida story with defeating Wanderer. The 0.2 for fucking Fontaine was also the finale. Now, the 0.2 was not the case for Natlin. That was actually a filler patch, but you still got a new zone. Don't we still did we not get a new zone in version 2 of Inazuma?
At what
2.2 Inazuma?
2.2? No,
Yeah,
I thought Enko no Miya was 2.3.
Okay, so if we didn't get Enko no Miya, then that also means we didn't get No, Enko Miya was 0.1, remember? Because you were with Kokomi and then you left to go defeat Raiden. So
no,
in 0.2, we didn't get a new area, or we did get the lightning. Did we get the lightning isle in 0.2?
No bullshit. I think Enko no Miya was like 2.3.
Fairy Island Genshin.
Where is change history? Let's go to change history.
When did Fairy Island came
Enko
out?
no Miya was released in version 2.4. Right here, change history, version 2.4. So wait, what was 2.3?
Yeah, but we had the Kokomi Island still in 2.1. We just didn't have Enko no Miya.
Yeah. What about it? Yeah, you had the Kokomi Islands in 2.1, but you know what came after that? You got the main islands, but
Siri Island was also on 2.1. Never mind then. Okay, so there was nothing in 0.2 aside from the event that some people even in chat said that they missed that and they liked it.
No, it was good. It was literally Genshin did roguelike first and then threw it in the garbage.
But other than that, if we include the other regions, right? It was the finale for Sumeru, it was the finale for Fontaine, and while we didn't get the finale in Natlin, we did get a new zone. And that new zone included Ochichchenka, the fucking giant ass fucking dragon fucking castle palace city thing, which was badass in of its own self. So we still get substantial content. Anyway, continue. So he says 0.2s were never anything substantial that they were filler. Strong disagree. Historically, they've always had something cool. And arguably
1.2 was Dragonspine, wasn't it?
Maybe?
No,
I think it was,
yeah. No, yeah.
So it was literally only Inazuma that didn't have anything. That's it.
calling
And
them
for Not
filler.
Cry,
Looking back
and
at
for
the
Not
timeline,
Cry,
Dragon's
I'd
Spine in
argue that
version 1
I'd argue that this new mechanic and buffing of by the way, I was wrong. It's not buffing 5 Mondstadt characters. They're actually buffing 9 of them, including Durian, which makes no fucking sense. But like
Point
Razor's
two, and
also in
all
there,
of
and
the point
Venti's
two
also in
versions
there.
going forward, that statement was objectively incorrect. I was wrong. The truth
Okay,
is,
he is
I allowed
incorrect,
the
sure.
absolute drought of version 6.1, which by the way, statistically had the lowest event counts in the game's.
You want to confirm like 6.1 being a content drought?
If we're talking about the actual Genshin world, yes, but Millistar Wonderland released that patch, aka this
Millistar
patch.
Wonderland is very, very unpopular
Yes,
in the
yes,
in the YouTube space.
If you, and here's the thing, that's fine. You don't have to like Millistar Wonderland. I'm not saying you don't have to like it, but you have to acknowledge that there was something added to the game, and that was Millistar Wonderland. And in addition to that, 6.1 was also just one of the most badass Star Rail patch.
I think
It was one of the- let me
near the
finish,
end.
Please let me fucking finish. The 6.1 story, which I've said numerous times, is a like 8-hour story with 10% yap and 90% super substantial stuff, including storylines that have been set up for years that we got a payoff for. Now they're not finished, obviously, but we got them acknowledged, and they're on the track now. The train is on the track for a lot of these storylines that have been set up at the station. They are now on the train. The train is moving now. 6.1, yes, there might have been no like new explorable areas and stuff like that or anything like that, but we had a badass story. We had Varka released finally. We had introduction of the Lost Sinners, a bunch of stuff related to Snezhnaya, Arlecchino potentially setting up for betraying the Jester eventually, and with us helping her, and all these other things with Nod Cry, its connection to Celestia, and possibly the connections to Conrea. It was a badass narrative patch. And sure, we didn't get a new explorable area, but we also got Millistar Wonderland on top of that. I don't know how you can say that nothing happened this patch. Sure, you don't have to like it, but something happened. You can go to
I just want to briefly mention that I think near the end of this video that Glaive makes a backhanded comment about something along the lines of like free labor from the community. So I think that's his opinion. That's his opinion of Millistar Wonderland, is that he doesn't count that as like meaningful content because it's not official Hoyoverse content. It's user generated stuff.
Do people say that about Dota? Do people that love all of Dota's special extra little content they can play, do they look at that negatively at Valve and call Valve fucking cheaters that scam their players out of making content for their own game? No, people fucking love Dota 2. You go to Steam and you go to the player count at any point in time, that player count is fucking super high. And I can bet you that a good chunk of that are people playing the fucking custom game modes. I refuse to have people. Okay, if again, there's one complaint I do have about Millistar Wonderland, and it's a big one. They should just retroactively add old events from previous Genshin events into Millistar Wonderland as like a rotating weekly game mode thing. Hey, remember this event in 2.2, the fucking like little roguelike mode? It's back now and it's in Millistar for 1 week.
You know what's funny is that GFL2 did that with the crew deck. They put arcade machines where you can play like Diner Gate Jump and the shitty Survivor game, but that's, hey, if somebody likes that, I don't.
Back to Millistar Wonderland. Okay? If you do that, Mahoyo, I think most people would actually be really, really happy about that. So again, but even outside of that, I don't agree with the idea of, oh, this is effectively making your community make content for you. Are you fucking stupid? People love that. People love the idea of being able to make something and exchange it to people. A lot of Genshin's, quote unquote, creation is based on sharing that with the community, whether it's fan art, whether it's people making their teapots and they really like their teapots, whether it's people making all these little like small editions or like cosplay. The idea of making a space where the game itself can now be a transformative, shareable thing is something I think most people can agree is positive for the game, because the game of itself has a very sharing community anyway when it comes to sharing the things they like. So yeah.
All right, we're resuming.
Yeah.
history for the 0.1 patches to color my view of the entire cycle. And maybe you don't feel that way, but with me not liking Miliastra Wonderland, and with no regional
and that's
expansions
fine. You
either,
cannot
I
like it.
projected the
You
dryness
cannot
of
like
the
it,
last
that's
6
fine.
weeks onto the last 5 years. And that was a lapse in judgment, and that is on me, and I apologize. Related to that, I also misspoke regarding Miliastra Wonderland. I used an
There's so many
analogy about
affairs,
paying
I'm
for
so
paint,
happy.
and that didn't land because, yes, the base tools are free. It was a clumsy metaphor that distracted from the actual conversation I wanted to have about labor free.
Wait, is this blowback he's getting from this specific section? Is this just literally a semantics thing again, where it's just word choice?
Related to that, I also misspoke regarding Miliastra Wonderland. I used an analogy about paying for paint, and that didn't land because
Paying for paint?
Paying for paint. Granted, we need to know what he said in full, but I don't even understand.
Oh, the skins? Oh, I think he's talking about the skins.
Paying for paint, the skins?
Like, it's just a paint job. Like, it's low
No,
quality,
it's not.
low effort.
No, it's not. The skins in there are pretty fire. I would say I own 2 skins. I own the funnily enough, I own the literal painter skin, which is very creative because the little bow tie in the back is shaped just like painter's paint, like little tubes.
But then he said just a moment later. Hold on.
yes, the base tools are free. It was a
The base tools are free. I don't understand.
It sounds like we need to hear the full quote, so just ignore it. Let's just
clumsy metaphor that
Okay.
distracted from the actual conversation I wanted to have about labor ethics. And so I'm retracting that specific comparison.
Labor ethics?
Yeah, because
What labor ethics?
because I guess Glaive believes that user-generated content should be compensated in some way.
This guy's never played Halo in his life. Holy fucking shit! Oh my god, this man's never fucking played Halo before.
It's not just Halo, isn't it? Like like Team Fortress 2. I know TF2 is a bit more like quirky, clunky with this user-generated content.
what I said? You remember what I said like 2 weeks ago? And this chat here even said, like, preach, brother, preach. We're listening to you. One of the things I said was I went hard about the fact that the reason why gacha games don't have a presence on content creation is because the games generally do not really function all that well for content creation to begin with. They're usually linear games, not super transformative in what you can do with them outside of the end game content, and that's why you see a lot of these people complain about end game content.
Also, just modding, just the modding in general, just Bethesda Nexus mods.
Please. The reason why we have things like that giant tweet you read earlier for Zenless Zone Zero was, again, because of endgame content. Why endgame content? Because most people that make content or talk about these games, that's the one transformative part about these games outside of you just mentioning how cool or how much you didn't like the current story. Because outside of the story or like the linear exploration of certain things, that's why, you know, content creation is kind of dead in this space. So when you finally add something like Halo fucking Forge, Roblox, insert any millions of other examples people loved over fucking generational gaming into Genshin Impact, all of a sudden it's a fucking labor ethics problem? Get the fuck out of here. Go play fucking Dota custom game modes. Go find a Halo lobby that probably is still living to this day because people love fucking Forge from Halo. Go say that to their faces. Go tell people who met each other through Xbox Lives and still know each other to this day and are super big friends who originally found each other on some random ass custom Halo game. Go tell them that their life experience was built on labor ethic issues. Get the fuck out of here. Continue the video.
I feel like I should go back and make a clip out of that. Oh,
do it.
Shit.
Absolutely. Hell, if you let me make a script, I will fucking tear every one of these content creators apart. I am a
I absolutely will.
I am a jaded as fuck and annoyed Genshin Impact lover who's had to sit here for content creators that have been trying to make a job out of a game that was never made to be a fucking job to begin with.
Hello, Mace 100. Makes 100. Just hold on a second. Makes 100. But the chat and I got my brother to react to the Glaive Kiyos video, so you may or may not want to catch up later on VOD because you just missed some pretty spicy ones.
Yeah, again, as I'm trying to say, if you would allow me to make my own script, plan it out, and you help me make a video where I'm the one talking, again, I would love to tear these fucking creators 3 different assholes because of them trying to create a job out of games that were never made to be treated as a job for content creation. Sure, you might play it like one, but you're sure as shit not going to get a fucking dime because of your boring, blank ass personality sitting there playing a game like this all the time with nothing interesting to talk about, because there is nothing interesting to talk about. There's a reason why everybody wants to gotcha for the character they want, and occasionally will pop in to see you fail and lose your pulls, and they get angry whenever you get a double 5-star, because this is the only form of other transformative content that this fucking shit has. It has people that want to play the game and then realize they can't because of either schedules or currency buildup or any bullshit like this. So they go to you. They go to you to experience haphazardly the fucking C6 character they can never have. That's all the transformative stuff you get about this game is. And those that stick around perpetuate the stupid drama bullshit because they're upset about the game for some reason or another. Oh, God, I could really go into it, so we'll just leave it at that. Like, there's so many other things I can say. What I just said, it wasn't even like the fucking the tip of the iceberg, but it was something.
Shall we?
Continue.
Okay.
I made a few videos about
that was
Miliastra
rambling.
already, talking about how it's
was
so
very
hated,
rambling.
and I got carried away because they did nothing to address the issues, gave us polls, and people are calling them generous for it. It is frustrating, to be honest, but that is why I was tilted. Finally, I want to address the comments about my tone. People mentioned that I sounded detached, and some people took that as a sign that I don't care about the game anymore. I am not detached. I am burnt out. That flatness you heard wasn't a lack of passion. It was just exhaustion. But let's not talk about me, right? Let's talk about
I don't know why he's fixating. I don't know why he's fixating on people talking about his tone. Like, what the fuck?
Your own exhaustion is, again, built off of the fact that you are making a job out of a game that admittedly quite a few of us actually do kind of already play as a job, but you're doing it daily. I didn't have the 100% exploration at all in Nod Cry for like the fucking bonus primo gems until last week. You want to know why? It's because I chose to just not play the game that day. That's it. I log in for my daily and I just go and do something else. Okay.
This is
guy,
where
he probably did this day one. He probably did this day one because he realized it's part of his content fucking ecosystem. That if he doesn't do it, somebody else will, and they'll beat him to it.
Well, this is where your
exhaustion is built off of. Then you have bum rushed everything, and then you have nothing to do. So you try and find little things to talk about. Then realize that they're probably not as interesting, or the times that you do find them interesting, no, maybe nobody else even does find it interesting then, because again, these people like me, we're probably not on the same wavelength as you, but you got to keep making content and videos because it's your job. And to a degree, I need to respect that because you know you're trying to make a living. But at the same time,
from my perspective, when it comes to fatigue,
you're trying to criticize something that other people are finding enjoyment out of, and that's where the clash happens. Your exhaustion is because people aren't agreeing with you.
From my perspective of the fatigue, I think it's the other way around, where it's not you play the games too much, you run out of stuff to do. It's you want to take a break from the game, but the game keeps dragging you back in with FOMO content, so you decide, okay, I'll play your FOMO content so I don't get left behind if I choose to put the game down. And then when they play the FOMO content, it's not interesting, and it only further irritates them until when they eventually do quit, they decide to never return. That is my stance on the matter.
Yeah. And again, if you have a problem with the game, your problem is valid, but you don't need to extend that on other people when they don't approach the way the game does the content. You shouldn't go after them or belittle their enjoyment or make it out to something that ends up being disagreeable when this guy clearly says a lot of people disagree with him. You just need to accept that you're not on the same wavelength as the other people when it comes to this, and just take it in strides. You just got to take it in strides, homie. You just got to take it in strides. FOMO is a bitch. Admittedly, it is. But if you take it in strides and you don't sit there and over fixate on it, and you just, figure out like, okay, well, it's 3 weeks left. I'll do it at some point during that time. I'll have some free time then. If you don't have free time in your real life schedule, that's just a problem with you. I don't even fault you for that and that type of thing. So yeah. I'm kind of getting rambly. This is why a scripted video would be much better, because I was cooking at the start. Now it's just rambling. Now I'm just saying fucking whatever.
Hey, you could just consult yourself, and you could just consult yourself on the VOD and then just like take bits of what you do say and then just form that into something later.
This is peak transformative content, though. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Shall I
Thank you.
resume?
Continue.
My opinions, because I don't want your pity, I want your trust. While I accept the criticism on my history and my tone, there is one narrative going around that I need to shut down right now. The idea that I am a tourist, that I am an outsider who doesn't actually play the game anymore and just here to farm drama. Now let's look at the
Please
receipts.
pause. Please pause. Anybody, again, this goes back to any of these content like groups. Even like the shit you were dealing with that one guy who was
Well,
like
I wasn't
saying,
being called a tourist there. I was being called like a
I don't care about
exclusively
the
like
language. I don't
negative
care about
rage
the
baiting
language.
hack.
I don't care about the language. What I'm trying to get at here is that you've mentioned tribalism yourself. This tourist comment is a form of tribalism because there is the labeling of tourist is there's a defined split between this group of people and this group of people. The tourist versus the people who were already here, right? That's obviously the distinction. And this is effectively just another form of gatekeeping or saying, oh, you don't understand, or you're not allowed to have this opinion because of blank. If you see someone say tourist, they're a fucking loser. Just ignore them. There's no reason. There are 3 billion other ways tourist equals a different word you've already seen before. You've ignored the other ones. Ignore this one. It doesn't matter that this is the popular word that's being used right now. Fucking ignore it. Who cares? They call you tourist. You got that fucking flower shirt on. You got the sunglasses, and you got the tour guide right out there. Enjoy being the tourist. Fucking laugh it off. Don't think much of it. Move on with your life. Continue.
Because in version 6.1, the very patch people claim I didn't play, I spent $1,000 to see 6 Nefer. I streamed the Miliastra Wonderland for hours. And I don't say this to flex, I say it to make a very specific point. At tourist visits, I live here. I have a crippling gambling addiction. I am the one funding the server, so free to play.
I don't understand why Glaive, someone who's criticized Genshin for years, would still put down so much money. Like,
well, he just said crippling gambling addiction.
You can just have a crippling gambling addiction on Wuthering Waves, though. A game that he's praised like an absolute shit ton times more by comparison.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, though. Here's the thing, like, where's the stop point for some of these people? Now, again, he says he has an addiction. If somebody says they have an addiction, if they admit it, sure, it's the internet. It could be jokey, right?
I think it's a joke. I think it's leaning a bit towards a joke.
Yeah, it could be a joke, but admittedly, again, if you have addiction, but you also have other outlets for that addiction that are more positive, yes, I'm telling you to engage in your addiction, but admittedly, just yes, engage in your addiction, but do it in the positive sense, okay? If you don't like engaging in it here, go engage in somewhere else, okay?
Just go gamble in Vegas like a normal addict.
Gamble in Vegas like a normal addict. You know, do what makes you happy. But like again, if you're not happy with the game, as I keep saying, leave. Stop. I told Ari multiple times to like leave Genshin like 8 months before they actually did it. And when they finally did it, props to them because
I left because of the GameSpot article where they basically just said the equivalent of fuck anybody who wanted like meaningful hardcore end game content, and then also contradicted themselves multiple times. By the way, that and polling like 110 times for Candace.
You got fucked on Candace. I do
on the banner with like the fucking twink Anubis boy, and I got the Anubis boy before I got Candace.
I would absolutely make a video, though, about how stupid people are when it comes to the endgame content. You know what? After this video, we'll talk about endgame content. I want to bring that up. I think that was the
So when I criticize Genshin, I am not doing it as a hater looking in from the outside. I am doing it as a high investment customer who wants the product to match the price tag. And that extends to the need.
That's how I feel with Zenless Zone Zero quite a few times, is that as someone who spends a lot of money in ZZZ, I feel more compelled than your average person to openly criticize the game.
It has effectively the same price as Genshin, but no like open world and deep lore that's being explored.
But the thing is that I don't
many years or anything like that. It's got the same price as Star Rail, but it doesn't have any kick-ass storylines like.
Shut up, ZZZ hater. All right, I'm talking for a moment. Okay. Look, I critique ZZZ as well, but I also don't go out of my way to get in fights with the everyday person who plays the games. Now, sure, I might butt heads with a creator every now and then, but that's kind of a more tangled mess of a conversation than something as simple as two people disagreeing about a certain aspect of a game and then just leaving at that. But the thing is, Glaive Glaive has put himself in a position where he's been identified in the Hoyoverse community as someone who leans more on the Wuthering Wave side. So that definitely attracts tribalists after him. But it's not that he's attracting tribalists; it's his response to the tribalists that then just further fans these flames, and then it creates this inability for Glaive to distinguish himself as someone who wants to see Genshin get better and actively puts a lot of money into Genshin, and wants to see a good return investment. Glaive just has a contradictory position. Yeah.
Genshin Impact literally doesn't give anybody polls, so most people are forced to spend money. And, that's unfortunate if you do want the thing and you have to spend money to get it. But ultimately, I think the game lasting for as long as it have and continuing to pump out crazy new additions literally fucking Roblox is a testament to the fact that, again, as I've said with Genshin multiple times, my needs are being met, so I keep playing. And I think that represents a larger group of people. But again, and while I was going super hard earlier because, this is somebody, I am somebody who has had to go online and see Genshin bad as the talking point for 5 straight years. Let me cool down for a moment to again, just say it plainly, okay? If you don't like Genshin Impact and you're still playing it, just stop. Just quit the game. Go do something else. You're feeding into something that clearly isn't. Again, it's not meeting your needs. It's meeting my needs. It's not meeting your needs. Go do the thing that's meeting your needs. Just straight up. Go do the thing that's meeting your needs. Just go be happier. There's no reason to keep stepping on your foot. Just go do what makes you happy. This is the same as when I say for people that are hate watchers. Why watch something that makes you angry? Go watch Queso. Queso's really funny. Go watch Queso's RV There Yet. It's fucking hilarious. I don't stand for Freckles slandering ZZZ. And hey, you know what? I'm probably going to be quitting that game pretty soon too anyway. So, that's very easy to say when you are not a full-time content creator. And again, that's the issue here, is that it all comes back to treating the game like a job. And ultimately, this is also a weird problem, not even exclusive to gacha content creators, but gaming content creators in general. I think the best example is any Minecraft or World of Warcraft game creator for content, is that they feel the need to stick with these games because whatever audience they built up basically only comes for that. And the moment they try and swap to something else, the audience falls off a cliff. And because of that, the revenue falls off a cliff. So these people do end up stuck in these ruts because of it. The only difference is if you're in a World of Warcraft or a Minecraft rut, you don't have to sit there and C6 Nefer to try and get something out of it, which inherently means that you're just cutting into your own profit, that you can't safely leave this game and go play a different one to ensure better profits and then saving money from not spending any gacha pulls. So it's two effects on top of each other.
Well,
so, yeah.
I think an end goal that's in the back of everyone's mind who's a full-time creator is that they want to stick with something until they hit a certain threshold of popularity, so that when they jump ship, they can ensure at least a minimum amount of people will stick around for them specifically. That will help them financially stay on their feet as they make that disconnect.
The problem is picking the game, though. WoW, Minecraft, League of Legends, even Genshin now to a certain degree.
Call of Duty, RuneScape.
For a lot of people, they've decided that this is their forever game, and that includes watching content based off of that. Remember those people that RJ was friends with? The RuneScape only players that literally didn't even know what Cyberpunk was, and the moment you put them in a Jackbox lobby, it's all references to RuneScape, and it's just the most boring thing ever.
It was cringe. It was just cringe, painful, out of touch.
These forever games will garner that type of audience, and you're not going to like what I have to say. A lot of people that watch content creation for gacha games are probably so neck deep into these gacha games, they're far neck deeper than I am, to the point where they're sitting there on like every shipping website. They're there on every single forum. They are so deep into it that they're just like the WoW people. They're just like the League people. They're just like the fucking Minecraft people. And the moment you leave, they're not coming with you because they were there, to be fair, for you, but they were also there for that game. So sticking on that ship, it's a one-way ticket. It is a 1 week ticket. Or sorry, one-way ticket. Yeah, continue.
Communities too. There were comments claiming I disrespected the TCG players, and I'm like, guys, I have a fully built deck. I actually play the game mode a lot before it got dried up, and that is exactly why I feel comfortable saying that the majority of the player base ignores it. It is literally my observation. And regarding Enkanomiya, people got very angry when I said nobody goes back there. They called it the gold standard of atmosphere, and I agree. It is beautiful. The music is nice. The atmosphere is incredible, but it is also dead content. Once you finish the quest, once you finish the exploration.
Stop.
I didn't even like Enkanomiya to begin with. Too many times you just sit watching the night and day cycle through when you're just doing one simple puzzle. And the fact the unmarked Mora hidden under like these rock formations that counted towards like the percentage of exploration in Enkanomiya, that shit was stupid.
The whole dead content conversation has always been absolutely freaking retarded. Like the dead content it's such a dumb thing to just say out loud. Now, I understand if you want to bring it from the talking point of game replayability value, but at that point, you're not replaying Genshin Impact. No one in their right mind is going to replay Genshin Impact, especially if they've been playing it for the 5+ years. It's just not realistic. I tried to make an alt. I didn't get out of Mondstadt. I enjoyed for a time being level 1 and doing things while level 1, but I didn't get out of Mondstadt because, again, it's the same game that I played for 5 years straight now. It's unrealistic to expect me to then, put that
making a second account and going through Mondstadt is actually just an inferior experience so much because you can't even like fumble your way through the start of the game anymore like you once did. So now starting out Mondstadt feels no different from exploring a new region in like a much later game version because you're going to tackle it in a very similar way because now you understand how to play the game. So,
well, I mean, I personally like just having different characters because the game is 5 years later and it's not launch where there's only like 20 characters. That's why I did it, and I liked that. I got like a random bloom team together with a little bit.
Anyway,
of
did you want to continue on or just keep going?
I lost my train of thought. Just continue on.
There is literally no reason to return. And when I criticize that, I am not hating on the map.
Oh yeah, dead content. Hold on, pause. Dead content. I bet you there are plenty of examples in Elden Ring of areas nobody goes to anymore whenever they do a second playthrough. Because you want to talk about games that people have a hard time going back and replaying. Elden Ring is on that list. Everybody agrees Elden Ring is this fantastic, amazing game. Myself,
every time I get to the Akumura Palace in P5, every time I got to the Akumura Palace at P5, I either stopped or just muscled through it with a heavy sigh.
Yeah, but anyway, my point is that like in Elden Ring, when you play that map for the first time, chances are you are going to explore a lot, maybe even all of it, maybe even close to all of it. But on that second playthrough, you are skipping a vast majority of those caves, even some of the like pseudo significant ones and like tombs and stuff like that. Now, sure, you want to make the argument caves are not like super like interesting to the gameplay and stuff like that. Sure, I can understand that. But here's also another example that also really isn't as super significant is the underground tree area with like the Deathblight mobs. Unless you're going there to do the quest line for the undead ending, like the Deathblight dragon boss. I feel like most people on a second playthrough probably skip that entire bottom tree area because aside from if you want to get specific smithing stones or specific weapon, that entire area is completely skippable and not really integral to most playthroughs. I think you can even bypass it on your way through the Ronnie quest. Like I think there's a different way to like get to the bottom area for the Ronnie quest for that as well and get the doll a different way. I don't even think you have to go through that area to begin with. Is that dead content? No, it's not. And this is to insinuate that any game that doesn't put you in a situation where you need to go back to somewhere is dead content to begin with, which is stupid. Are you saying in a game like this that we admittedly do play every day that we need to have a reason to go back to this zone? No, of course not. We don't need to. Now, thankfully, we do go back to old zones in general, but I don't need to go to this specific I don't need to go back specifically to Dragonspine. Dragonspine did its thing. It was a place with a unique little mechanic of how to get through it, and that was really about it. Anku no Muya did its thing. It was a very awesome, badass little area with its own little mechanics. I don't need to go back there and re-explore it in some, different way to justify its existence. Its existence was there. It filled the role. Is a cutscene dead content because I already experienced its plot twist? No. It did its job in the moment. So yeah, continue.
I'd rewatch Xenoblade 3 no matter how many times I've seen it.
No, yeah. I mean, cutscenes might not be a great example because there is cinematography and like a storyline and being able to rewatch there. So maybe not an amazing example, but I think you can get my point. It's not dead content.
Wishing
It's
that there
content
were
that served its purpose.
gameplay reasons, events, combat challenges, anything to go back to that location. I don't want Genshin to be a museum I walk through once. I want it to be a game I can play. Distinguishing between art and content doesn't make me a fake fan. It just means I know the difference between looking at a painting and playing a video game. And while we can debate vibes and tone all day, there is one area
I
where
don't get this fucking... What is with this idea that because I can't play it more than once, it's dead? Who invented this? This is the whole idea of Genshin bad I've had to sit through for 5 years, and I've had to sit here and have content creators regurgitate the same opinion when I occasionally pass by. Who decided that because you experience it once, and it effectively can really only be experienced once in a single playthrough, basically, correction, on a lifetime account, I'll admit, who decided that it's dead content at that point? It's so dumb. You don't want to know what is dead content? Events you can't go back and replay. Why is that not talked about more? And I understand the reason is because that's basically a losing battle. That's basically been forfeited. Why is that not a stronger conversation for dead content than the shit that I can go do right now? That is the museum that I walk through. It's just so fucking. Just continue.
Conversation got messy, and that is the mechanics. For Klee, it was an honest mistake on my part, right? They were talking about the optimizations right after the Hexerai buffs.
Bro,
so
whole
it's
channel is rage bait. The problem is that this is the first time I've heard this guy talking, and he's saying talking points I've heard for over like 5 years. This channel can be rage bait, but it exists in an ecosystem that is not rage bait. It exists in an ecosystem that is perpetuating itself, that has consistently been talking about this constantly. And that's why I want to bring up the whole idea of endgame content whenever we finish this video, assuming I don't make this react like fucking 17 times as long. Continue the video. Hopefully we can keep going.
Like the fix was a part of it, but a lot of comments and a lot of people on Twitter accused me of doom posting regarding Albedo. They pointed out that Albedo isn't strictly tied to Double Geo. He can work in Mualani teams or Electro Charge teams because of his Elemental Mastery buff. And you know what? Sure, fair point. My fault is that my tone and wording was too absolute in saying that he needs Geo Resonance to function at all. But that doesn't change the fact that this system is bad. We need to distinguish between a buff and a fix. For 5 years, Albedo's flower shattering on bosses wasn't a quirk, it was a mechanical failure. It made his kit feel broken, and not in a good way. In Zelazone Zero,
nobody disagrees on that.
Or Star Rail, when they buff a character, it usually opens up more playstyles. And here, in Genshin, it is doing the opposite. They're unlocking a fundamental fix, making the flower indestructible behind a restrictive team building condition. Why does Albedo need a chaperone to make his skill work properly? It restricts player freedom. Instead of letting us build teams creatively, they're handing us a script, and it's no coincidence that the character who fits that script.
I can agree that a buff being in the form needing different teammates does kind of hamper, what buffs could look like in a game like this. I agree with that, but I do think we need to take into account that this is a character that is dead in the water, and I think yes, I'm not going to pretend that it's the best thing and it can't be criticized. It is a buff that can never be criticized, blah, 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 blah. But I think we have to acknowledge that there are probably more people that are willing to take this as the alternative rather than just let the character sit in the water dead. Now, here's the thing. it's not like you can never go back and use this character for your old team. It's not like they're changing the character. I've looked through some of these buffs. These buffs are just additions to the current character. It's not like this character will now be completely removed from their previous accessibility. They will keep their old accessibility. It's just that they're gaining new ones that are based around, what, hoop they want you to jump through. But admittedly, again, I think a lot of players are willing to jump through this little mini hoop of having a second character that is a Coven Witch faction character. And bear in mind, the 9 characters that are being buffed as buff options, they're all part of that faction. You don't need to go get the shiny new Alice or anything like that, or Durian. You just need to have one of the 9 old-ass Mondstadt characters that everybody has in the party now. Now, if you want to make the argument that this isn't going to work because a lot of those characters, even after their buffs, probably wouldn't work with the team you would want to put them in anyway, I can understand that. And that is an upsetting factor. But I have a feeling that, most people will be willing to take this because at the end of the day, the character will still function the way they are outside of it. And they even still have some buffs that aren't inherently intrinsic to that specific mechanic. So again, I think people are more than willing to actually take the bone that they're being thrown rather than just not having anything at all. Especially now, have they been conditioned for that? Probably, most likely, when the game has never buffed anything for 5 years. I can agree with that. But I think, again, that this is more positive than negative in the long run. Keep going.
Perfectly, the one who unlocks the fix and provides the best synergy is the new limited 5-star. And if you don't believe me, let's look at the experts.
Don't see him being worth wishing for, but if you already have him, he's going to be a lot more useful. As we said earlier, you can put him on the Mulanni team. You can also use him as a core with Durin to activate the Hexarai buffs, and then basically run him with another Geo for Geo Resonance. That's usually how you're going to get the most value. So as a dual, is a sub DPS for Navia, as a wheelchair core with Chiori, he helps activate her damage. And then, Shalonen, maybe helping wheelchair another pyro carry. Probably not going to be as good as these other two, but still all right. So basically, I think Albedo's will show.
Kafka didn't get buffed because people wanted Kafka to get buffed. Kafka got buffed because Hisselin's was on the way. They're not talking about buffing Firefly because they're going to buff Firefly and they want to buff Firefly. They're buffing Firefly because Constance is coming. Now, yes, to a certain degree, they are doing it because it is a player desire for 2 super popular characters, right?
Yo,
Firefly
they buffed Ellen Joe, but nobody was
Kafka.
Coming to sell Ellen Joe.
Yeah, well, EZZ's in a rut. They're just doing it to improve player fucking, happiness. That's a different story. But you have to also, you have to acknowledge, yes, they buffed Kafka. She is a very life character. And yes, that they ended up buffing.
Okay, to be fair. Okay, no. Hold on. I want to walk that back for a second. I think they buffed Soldier. I said this when Ambi got buffed because a lot of people were saying Ambi didn't need a buff. She just needed some adjustments, and some slight fixes. I actually said the exact same thing you're saying right now. Is the reason Ambi got buffed over other characters was to raise the value of polling for characters like Seed or Orphe on reruns.
Yeah, do you think it's a coincidence that in the best team section you showed chat the other day that it include a team of Astra Yao and including Ambi, because the narrative
that was Seed's introduction before her banner went live. That was the intended teams before Ambi got buffed.
Yeah, this was before she got buffed. And remember, as somebody who was using Ambi with Seed, before the buffs even happened, I was like, oh my god, my Ambi is amazing with Seed. And then the buffs happened, and then it was even better. But if they never buffed Ambi, I would have just kept her on the Seed team and kept playing the Seed team to this day with Ambi because, oh my god, that's the problem Ambi had the moment she came out, is that people were basically saying, if you don't have Trigger, the character's dead in the water. That was the running concept. So obviously, when Seed comes out, and she so happens to just also really work at Ambi, they're incentivizing people, hey, get Ambi. Now, you could say a good counter argument is it's kind of weird that they didn't rerun her banner, but, we might have to disagree or agree to disagree on that one. One thing about the Kafka buff, it did make Black Swan more viable. Incorrect. Black Swan inherently can be used on pretty much any dot team because of the way she functions. The whole idea of Black Swan is to just basically have more dots affect more dots. Now you can turn around and say Kafka needs to be on every dot team, and you're not wrong because she adds the intrinsic detonation on dots. But I think an argument can be made for either or, especially if in the future they try and wean people off Kafka, because we can't just have Kafka on every dot team forever. They're going to add a new dot character at some point, and especially if they try and do damage related to not detonating the dot, but let it detonate on its own, Black Swan will still have value, and Kafka will deviate in value.
Who's the sustain on the dot team? Is it still Huohuo?
Just Huohuo, because there's not.
They're going to come out with a dot healer first. They're going to come out with a dot healer.
Well, that will just swap out Huohuo. That won't swap out Kafka. What I'm trying to say is
it'll delay swapping out Kafka.
What I'm trying to say is, realistically, they're probably going to try and make a replacement for Kafka in the future. We just don't know what that would be. And the assumption is that it would just be a mechanic that, detonating the dot is not as valuable. But it's a dot. You want Black Swan still because she just enhances dots and adds another dot, a very powerful dot inherently. So yeah. I don't remember why we were talking about that specific point.
Also, I got to be honest, this purple-haired guy's design, I'm not a fan of it.
The point is this practice good for players? You're playing a gacha game. I think you're kind of missing the forest for the trees at that point. When we're talking about, is the practice good for care? Is it a good practice then that you add certain characters to then line up with certain new mechanics in any of these games? Of course it's never gonna. It never will be, okay? We just have to accept certain things. If you want a game that, quote-unquote, the point is this a good practice? Go play Ghost Frontline 2. If you want to make the argument of, is this a good practice for players? Go to Ghost Frontline 2, where they buff fucking every character, every patch. It's like every other patch or every 2 patch. Overreed got a second fucking buff, for God's sakes, guys. And we're not saying they increased the number by 2. Pull up the Ulrid buff. Her very first buff was 1 paragraph. Her second buff, which was this patch, was 3 paragraphs. They gave her 7 effects.
They didn't just buff Ulrid. Hold on. For this patch, they buffed 5. They're buffing 3. They're buffing 3 characters for this patch, and then they're buffing 2 more on the way in the second half. By the way, this character right here, this character Lena, she just came out. And they buffed her. This character has only been out in global for about maybe 3 game versions. This character has only been out. This character over here, Jang Yu, she's only been out for about maybe two game versions. And this character up here, Belka, she's been out for maybe 4 or 5 game versions.
And you want to know why they do that? It's because this game's business model, they've accepted that their business model is a good chunk of it is skins and cosmetics and things that make the player want that they like the looks of, okay? This game, aside from every other gacha, it's not even just MiHoYo. Bring Wuwa into this. Those games, Wuwa and all the MiHoYo ones, they got fucking 2 skins in the shop, okay? You understand their business model. You understand the MiHoYo, Wuwa, or all the other gachas at this point business model is characters. The only reason why Girls Frontline is doing all these crazy-ass buffs is because they want you to have as many characters as possible that feel good to play, so that way you think, I kind of want 20 skins now for the 20 characters I own. This is why they do buffs, because this is their business model. The reason why these other games do these buffs so sporadically, or in Genshin's case, so late, we are well past the idea of, is this a good practice for the players? Because you're already playing the gacha game of your choice that is intentionally got a business model that already doesn't work with the players. So yeah, if you want a gacha game that, at least currently in its current state, is actually doing something for you, the player, you go play Girls Frontline 2, okay?
All right, we resuming?
#ad.
Find the most when paired with Durin outside of the Mualani core.
Here, Jello confirmed it. While the free teams work, the premium experience, the version of Albedo where he feels best to play, is tied to Durin.
Okay, so obviously, Jello Impact, is I guess a respected Genshin Impact creator. So this is a, my source is a my evidence is a an expert on the matter.
You should also bear in mind that Genshin has far more content than any other of the gacha games in a single patch. So, like, if you get a new character in ZZZ, the most content you're going to do is going to be the weekly or the rotating challenge mode. In Genshin, if you get Durin right now, or if you get your Albedo buffs and then you don't have Durian, you're still going to have one extra new like continent or extra island, extra explorable thing that will be like 10 to 20 hours of gameplay with your new shiny Albedo that just got buffed.
Well,
You don't
this
need the best
this
thing to write
this
Durian.
is
You
this
don't
is
need
a
the super
difference.
strong Durian.
This is a difference in personal value judgments in terms of what people want out of gameplay. Genshin players want exploration. ZZZ players want to min max their scores in like multiple different game modes. So I'm not gonna judge you guys for wanting exploration. I don't want exploration. I just want pure combat. So you should probably not be judging us by suggesting that we have less to do. It's not that. We just have different stuff to do that we prefer.
So yeah, what I'm trying to say is that your
Open world games suck? Yes, they do. Gacha open worlds are suck balls.
It's like, so yeah, on paper, yes, Albedo will not be as strong if you don't get Durian for the rotating challenge mode every 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, right? But you will still objectively have a better character that can have a better state. This is just objective. You will have a better character. And since the vast majority of Genshin's gameplay is that open world, and this game has lasted for 5 years and has done all these things and managed to keep its head well above the water for an extended period of time, it is clear that this is the player's needs are being met. And they just want to enhance a character. And while, yes, it might be, again, it does kind of suck that these enhancements, yes, admittedly, are quite specific to specific criteria to activate them. But again, I think more than not, people are willing to take it because it's something. And at the end of the day, heck, maybe it will bring some characters that people love. I can't wait to use Fischl again. Let me put it that way. I really like using Fischl in like version 1 to like mid version 2. I never use Fischl anymore because admittedly she's just a terrible character that just doesn't fit the current state of the game. I hope these buffs make her better because you bet your ass I'm going to start using Fischl in the open world a lot. And I might even try and take her into some endgame content with some like hyper specifically like set teams for that and stuff like that. Fischl was decent in teams now, kind of not really, because you can just swap him out with like a Yai Miko and the effectiveness is jokingly like
he has a C6 R5 Yai Miko.
It doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. I've used the trial Yai Miko. We've all used the trial Yai Miko. We know the difference in the effectiveness of a
Hello,
Yai
Chisa's
Miko
husband
versus a Fischl. I'm not going to sit here and have somebody say, "Oh, well, you have the C6." Yes, I do. But I've played the trials.
I'm just trying to temper people's expectations when they hear you talk about Yai Miko. Okay, that's all. Hello, Chisa's husband.
Because I played the game for 5 years and I know what a fucking non-maxed Yai plays like anyway.
My brother talking, by the way, Chisa's husband. All right, we resume.
Also, they need to buff like physical because physical has just been dead in a ditch. And if you ever want to do a physical Fischl, that's why I'm bringing that up.
Premium experience, the version of Albedo where he feels best to play is tied to Durin. This is a business plan. They created a restrictive passive so they can sell Durin as the best key to unlock it. And I don't want future buffs to follow this pattern. If they ever decide to fix Daya, I don't want her fix to be
Does this guy love Chisa? Because if you don't get Chisa, whatever dot character that comes in the future is going to be bad if you don't get Chisa. You can literally just retroactively put this for any argument of any of these games. There's like, why? Ari here got fucking Bard Woman for fucking Cartithia. And I don't think he necessarily really likes Bard Woman. Like,
oh, Kachona?
Yeah, Kachona.
No, I got Kachona, so Cartithia would be better. I don't give a shit about Kachona. I think her design looks kind of all right. I liked her personality and I liked her personality in the story, but I would not have pulled her under normal circumstances if it wasn't for Cartithia. And also she's annoying as fuck to listen to sing all the time. Like, I'm fine with Astra. Shit. I'm one of the few who's fine with Robin welcoming you into her world 24/7 while fucking Aventurine drops chips on every poor sod and Nami just throws a tornado at their ass. But
that C6 Nefer of his could have been allocated to getting Durin. No. This content creator, he can get Durian just fine. He's just making he's advocating for the idea of you wanting your
they
character
fixed
you
it
already
after I
had.
left. Yeah, it breaking my heart, Kuro. It doesn't matter because on the topic of needing to pull Kachona to make Kartithia work, I also one of the bigger reasons
Song true.
One of the bigger things that contributing factors that made me left was pulling Prolova and then realizing that I needed Cantarelia to make her work or Roshia. Now, I know somebody's going to say, "Oh, you could make her work without it. It's not necessary." I don't care. I like playing characters at their most optimal level where I feel like I'm using a team that feels like it was meant to be designed with these characters in mind, and Wuthering Waves designs its characters in a very strict within a very strict criteria where if you want the characters to feel like they play just right, like somebody like Zani, you're going to need this character. What if I don't like this character? Well, go fuck yourself.
And I'm on the other end of the spectrum.
Can the character work? Sure, maybe. You put the elbow grease in, you can get them work. But is it going to be fun? I don't think so. At least not to me. I got to throw that out there because people are going to lose their shit.
And I'm on the other end of the spectrum where I just pull characters because I want the character for whatever reason I want the character. And then I try and make that character work with what I have. Jinshi, my favorite character, I never got Zeshi to boost the speed at which you get your beam back. Instead, I just ended up using the Cantarelia I got in the future.
Gotta use.
I know most people.
New meta is Kiyuan. Oh, the dude. Oh, that's hilarious. The one dude. Yeah, fuck that shit.
Anyway, like what I'm trying to get at here is that right now.
Can't you say that about other gachas? ZZZ, ironically, the game that literally locks additional abilities behind certain character criteria has more options for most team compositions, barring obviously like certain exceptions. But you objectively can pair more characters together and make the team work than you can in Wuthering. At least in my time in Wuthering.
Do we include my attempting to kill Miasma Fiend the other night?
I don't want to talk about what you were doing last night.
All right, fair enough. I don't have Yuzuha. We'll just chop it up to that. Anyway, as I was trying to say, is that Glaive right here is trying to basically advocate against the idea that it's bad that they're buffing a character because then you need this other character to play them at their most optimal, even though you have literally 7 other options of characters that existed throughout the years. Multiple or 4 stars that you can use to do that, even though this is not an old practice. This practice exists so fucking much everywhere else. And then it doesn't even account for the people like me who let's say I don't even want Durian, right? Like, let's say, obviously it's Genshin, I get every character. Let's pretend this is
Hello, Rezi.
Right? Let's pretend.
Hold on. Can you stop for a second? I want to give Rezi context. So me and Chat managed to get my brother to talk about reacting to the Glaive video. If you're interested, if you're interested in what he has to say, then you'll have to watch over on the VOD. But let's just say it's gotten him so engaged right now that he might even be considering writing his own script and doing his own video on my channel for him.
I'm not gonna. Realistically, probably not gonna happen.
Probably not gonna happen. Okay.
I'd like it. I might give it an attempt if we actually like go through it. But again, what I was trying to say, everybody gets my point. It was just gonna regurgitate the same thing. Everybody understands what I'm trying to say. Just play the video. Continue.
Behind a specific faction requirement just to function. I want buffs that gives us freedom, not buffs that force us to build specific teams. Calling that out isn't negativity. It is demanding better game design.
Bear in mind, real quick, the whole specific team argument. Genshin has the most flexibility. It's not even close. I will dunk anyone who wants to argue otherwise. Genshin literally has the least friction when team building and has far more variety than every other one of these on the fucking market right now. You want to make a break team in Star Rail, you basically need full break characters to get fucking maximum effectiveness out of it. You want to make a fucking casterist team in Star Rail, you need to get the HP healer, you need to get the supports that will then also enhance the speed at which you can get your HP back or even spend more HP. You got to do all this fucking shit in fucking ZZZ that you can't even activate a portion of a character's kit unless they have a hyper-specific criteria of a different character also in the fucking team. All the while, Genshin Impact, you have each element has like 3 to 4 different fucking reactions, so you already have fucking stuff like that. You don't have character skill activation criteria like in ZZZ. And while yes, there might be specific team things like Nillos, those are so far and few between compared to like your fucking Zillonen, who works in a mono geo team or works in a multi-element team and has different functionality between them to enable that flexibility.
Well,
and even
well,
Nillo
the
that I used as an
restriction,
example, you can just throw Nillo in any team if you need water application anyway.
the restrictions in Genshin comes in a combination of in a combination of pairing certain teams to get certain reactions, while at the same time having to take into account enemies who might be resistant or immune to those element types.
Just like every other one of these games. So when you
Yeah,
take that
but
into account, it's still more
Genshin
flexible.
straight up says, "Hey, if you're using a Raiden Shogun, you can't do any damage to this electric slime." I think
Yeah, and
there's a bit of a
ZZZ says-
jump.
Yeah, and ZZZ says the Chingy you've been using all this time that everybody agrees is at the bare minimum good at being the stunner can't fucking stun the new boss.
Yes, she can. She could. If I can stun, if I can get a 20k, if I can get a 20k against, look, if I can get like a 22k with Ellen Trigger, who's also, electric stun and doesn't output as much stun as
Please
fast.
bring up the character that allows you to just play your DPS the entire time. This is a bad example.
This is a boss where you do the most damage when he is stunned.
I don't care. It's a bad example. You can be doing damage the whole time versus Chingy, who's doing no damage and also not stunning at the same time.
Because the damage comes in once he is stunned.
Don't
Take
have
me off.
Castrus. Good luck with Polyex. Is it actually that bad? Because like he does the move where he steals all your HP, but then you just get turns anyway. Is it actually that bad, Castrus v Polyex? I never thought it was that bad.
Well, even if you don't have Castrus, if you just own her on your account, then she just revives you anyway.
Honestly, that has not done as much as people thought it would. I'm gonna be honest. There have been plenty of times where they stand back up and they go right back down.
Okay, am I resuming?
For Apocalyptic Shadow, yes. I mean, I'd imagine so, because Apocalyptic Shadow can be a bit of
I
a
hate
bitch.
Apocalyptic Shadow in the first few patch, in like the time I played. I hated Apocalyptic Shadow. I thought it was
not-
a dog shit mode.
Caster's passive is usually, yep, true. Like, you think, there's like, I feel like 1 out of 4 times it actually does what you think you want it to do, and then the 3 or 4 times it's just like, hey, I'm back up, and I'm right back down.
Okay.
Anyway, continue.
All day about what I said, but I am standing on business and argue that there is a better way to implement the buff. And while we're on the subject of casuals and tourists, let's talk about Twitter. I saw the threads, I saw the essays of people
Jesus.
calling me a casual, which I probably am, I guess, analyzing my emojis, and trying to diagnose my personality
Okay,
based
fast
on
forward this part. Fast
180
forward this
characters. Now let me save you some time. I do not take Twitter seriously. I
Two.
treat that app like a public
Oh, two.
bathroom wall. Half the time I'm trolling, and half the other time I'm barely paying attention. If you are writing a thesis
this
statement
is
in my
the part
replies, trying
I
to
don't
own
think
me
you
based
do
on a
this.
shit post, the joke is not on me, it is on you. But among the garbage, there was one tweet that actually sparked a real conversation. A few days ago, I asked a simple question. How do we feel about locking combat buffs behind a story?
Wait, this wasn't a rage bait? This was a genuine question?
Okay, yeah, I need to pull this back.
A few days ago, I asked the simple question. How do we feel about locking combat buffs behind a story quest? And the response was loud.
Please pause. Please pause. Please tell me, just like at the beginning of this video, that this is a rage bait. Because if this is a genuine question, this guy is literally out of his mind and you need to exit the video immediately. Play.
Accused me of hating RPGs, of wanting to turn the game into a spreadsheet simulator, and of missing the depth that story adds. Let me be clear, I love the story. I love Venti. I have been following the lore since day one. My favorite Genshin creator is a lore channel. But there is a difference between story and homework. When you lock a fundamental combat fix, like making Albedo's flower usable, behind a yap fest of dialogue for a character I might not care about, that isn't depth, that is a time tax. If I have to sit
The story content's not outright, by the way, so he could be talking out of his ass about what you actually have to do to...
Yeah, exactly.
Story-wise?
Like, he could be talking out of his ass. Like, there have been plenty of story quests that you get. Now, here's the thing. It could easily be part of the main story.
Did you watch my video memeing on like
Yes,
just
I did.
okay.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. It's very possible that whatever quest he's talking about is just a quest that unlocks after you beat the Mondstadt story in version 1. because there are plenty of examples of that. If I remember correctly, the original fucking Albedo introduction of the fucking like the chess boss where you fight chess pieces, I'm pretty sure that's a story that just unlocks partway through like Genshin, not after Natlan. I'm pretty sure that fucking storyline you just unlock that partway through. I'd have to look that to confirm that. But there have been plenty of times where there are like events or quests that are released partway through, and you don't have to actually be in the current storyline to do them. Especially with Mondstadt.
In my opinion, the biggest reason why this popped off and he got memed and why Glaive got memed to hell and back is because Glaive, for one reason or another, whether it's because he heavily criticizes Hoyoverse games, whether it's because he constantly gives like Wuthering Waves like praise or like goes easy on Wuthering Waves, whether it's because he's allied with Saint Tontas, etc., whatever, for one reason or another, people have come up with the conclusion in their mind that Glaive leans more towards the anti-Hoyoverse side. So when he puts out something like this, where it's supposed to be more so a genuine question, because people have a negative opinion on him, this tweet reads off as everyone assumes there's a negative connotation to this tweet, like he's trying to start something again, which is why he got memed on. If this was like a pro Hoyoverse creator that said this, like Bran Online, then I don't think this response would have happened. That is my opinion on why this happened. So anyways, did I cut you? I wanted to just say that. I don't know if I cut you off.
No, right now I'm Googling what the prerequisite for unlocking the Paralogism quest line is. Previous requirements, Archon quest, inversion of Genesis.
No. Yeah, I did show a moment ago that Bran did react to it, and apparently going by not only YouTube, the YouTube title, but also hold on, let me find it for a second.
Okay. So I was correct. So
there's multiple different names of the title if you depending on if you look.
Hold on. The idea of you having to be in Nodcry right now, like let's say you're a new player and you just got Albedo, like I don't know, within the last year, right? The idea of you needing to be in Nodcry to get this quest to pop, to get your character buffs, this isn't even like entirely confirmed. And here's my proof for that. Late into Natlan patch, we had a Mondstadt patch to basically set up for all of this with the Durian patch. We had a patch setting up for all of this. And the quest you have to do, the requirement of this 5.6 Natlan game version Mondstadt storyline is Sumeru. To do the quest that sets up all the way for before what is in theory this Durian patch and these character buffs, the prerequisite to this narratively, the prerequisite for it is Sumeru, not even Nodcry. You don't even have to go through 100% of the current story. You only have to do about 40 to 50% of it, beat Sumeru. That's it.
That's a fuck ton of time, though.
That is a lot of time. I'm not going to pretend it's not. But ultimately, that just means you have to beat Inazuma. Think about it. If you're still in if your raggedy ass is still in
when I came back to the game like a fucking like 9 to 10 months ago, I dipped into Sumeru and I fucking pieced the fuck out because I didn't want to have to, because mashing through the slog of like the first acts of the Archon quest, I didn't give a shit about the time paradox thing. I just wanted to get on with the show. I wanted Paimon to stop talking in my ear. I just gave up. And also,
I don't think
that Sumeru was just a pain in my dick to explore.
I don't think the main story queue progression is the talking point here. It absolutely is the talking point because he's mentioning Yap. What does that inherently mean? That can be as little as you are up to date right now, you've done every story content, and you just want your character buff the moment you log in the game. Or that could mean you quit the game because, I don't know, you didn't like the way your Albedo was playing, and you quit the game in, I don't know, let's just say Inazuma, because obviously there are still examples of people saying Inazuma was like not a great like thing for them. They didn't like Inazuma, right? Let's assume you stop playing the game in Inazuma. There's a massive stark contrast between you will get your Albedo buff in the next zone, or you will get your Albedo buff 4 zones from now. There's a huge distinction there. There's an absolute distinction there. Genshin skip button, even if there was a skip button, that's a lot to do to get to your character buff. And here's the thing, if you have to get to Notcry to get that character buff, yeah, that would be completely ass. But I think it kind of speaks volume, and it almost sounds like they were kind of anticipating a problem like this when, again, the original Albedo quest that sets up for Durian to becoming a human being and a playable character, and the witches, the last time we talked with the witches, was, again, the 5.6 quest, which on the wiki right now, its requirement is just the 3rd act of Sumeru. There is a huge difference between somebody starting the game or being like in Inazuma or having already beaten Sumeru, and they just have to do a couple quests, one zone, or versus going all the way to Nodcry. There is a huge difference for that. So that is actually a main point of why I'm bringing that up. Play the video.
Through, God forbid, 40 minutes official yapping just to unlock a passive ability for my team. That quest
Wait,
stops
he
being
actually is only... He genuinely is complaining about 40 minutes. Okay, this guy is cooked.
Yeah, he's not even talking about like prerequisites. He's just talking about the process of like the quote unquote quest itself to buff the character.
How the hell do you create a shitstorm from a single comment and not understand why it's oh god. Oh my god. I was trying to defend him. I was trying to say like, oh well, if he's talking about all the players that got Albedo and maybe quit the game during insert patch here, but come back because they're just like, oh my gosh, my character's better, and this and that happened, maybe I should come back to the game. And he fucking immediately ruins my like possible defense of him by saying 40 fucking minutes. Oh my god, man. That is why I said it's irrelevant. Can we VIP Kaisar? He is more relevant than anything I was saying for the last 5 minutes.
I can only make him a mod.
Oh my
and
God.
I don't want more moderators.
His point is he doesn't even want to play the game. He wants everything. Yeah, it's like fuck, man. It's so weird. It's just so weird, man. It's so again, at that point, this guy's on the verge of quitting the game. If you don't even want to play the game to get a buff that inherently, you know,
$1,000 on Nefer can spend $1,000 on Nefer, can't spend 40 minutes.
He spent more time making this section.
Full-time creator, by the way. I think when people say stuff like this, who kind of has a point.
In the time he spent making this individual section, complaining about 40 minutes, he could have done that quest 3 times over.
I wonder if I can just find Chrono's comment by scrolling. Here it is. You said you're burnt out. A perfectly sensible person would have dropped the game and walk away, but not you. You fund the game so free-to-play players can play the game, but you don't even make the attempt to play the game enough to speak as if you know the game inside out. This is where people call you out on your misinfo. Example, you said Notcry has no treasure compass, but there is behind the Notcry representation.
Dude, the Notcry treasure compass.
As for the Battle Fist, this is actually a knowledge check with game mechanics. Yes, it is a fix, but any advanced player knows his flower will shatter when using them on the boss. It's the same for any Zhongli's player. When no use to use away from the boss.
Yeah, well, wait, hold on. Zhongli's not getting a buff, so like.
Well, hold on. Don't most geo constructs get destroyed anyway? Like under certain conditions when a boss moves on top of it or like attacks.
Yeah, they move on top of it, it'll still break it. Yeah,
it'll still break. So I'm not sure if setting it down in a different direction matters so much if it could still be broken anyway. But let's move on. So you'd call it a problem as he's a fix, and pairing him with Durin only makes him stronger, doesn't make him useless without.
I hope you guys understand in chat what I mean when I say that this is an opinion that then gets perpetuated and slung around. Sure, there's a lot of people shitting on him in this comment section, but there are concepts and ideas and complaints not too far off from this that do get accepted and then do get perpetuated. And if you're a fan of a game like this, you then go on and here's a great example. How many of you guys are now annoyed at the point that when you go online and you're not even necessarily looking for ZZ content, either positive or negative, and you just see your game being referred to as the Goon game? Is there anybody here that's at least a little bit annoyed by that? Because like I've sat here and complained about the story to death multiple times in multiple streams, but I bet you there are people here in this chat that do enjoy the story, and they're a little bit annoyed that their game is referred to as the tits and ass game, right? there's got to be someone here that at least to a degree can at least meet me halfway in the middle, not necessarily in Genshin versus ZZ, but in the idea that when you go online and you feel like there's this idea that you are basically being not acknowledged, even though there is a large congregate within the people that play the game that do have positive opinions on it, but then when they go online, it's just content creators shitting on it, even though these content creators effectively have no pull. It's just a bunch of fucking 1,000 view Andys perpetuating a concept on a game that doesn't even have a popular consensus online. So whenever that consensus is brought up, it's not even like, you don't even have like hundreds or thousands of millions of people laughing at you. It's just a handful of people that are just like, oh yeah, isn't that the Goon game? Or like, oh yeah, isn't that the game that's bad? Or something like that. It's not even treated like a meme that everybody can laugh at to a certain degree. It's just treated as the common knowledge that your game is irrelevant or some bullshit, even though that's far from the fucking case. It's annoying, man. It's fucking irritating. I like records being set straight. Damn straight. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at, man. I'm trying to get my friends into it, but that's all they say. Exactly. It's fucking annoying. Now, admittedly, you guys probably have it worse than me in Genshin, because if I talk to a real life person about Genshin, if anything, more than anything, it's probably just like, oh yeah, that game's cool. It's really long though. So I actually don't have this problem. This is a unique problem to you guys, because I know when I mentioned to my coworkers at work, my brother does videos for Zenless Zone Zero. Somebody who is in their 30s and then somebody who's 18, who we just hired recently, they both basically simultaneously said the same thing. Oh yeah, isn't it the Gooner game? You have a 12-year age gap between these two, and they're basically saying the same thing. So yeah, you guys have it more rough than me in that regard. Are they wrong? Here's the thing. To a degree, they're not wrong. And you could say that even about Genshin, about it being potentially a Goon game, because again, attractive women anywhere. But what I'm trying to get at here is that as somebody who has sat here and gotten flack and defended their points to the death to people in this chat, I know you guys love ZZZ. I know you guys really, really enjoy ZZZ. You know, some things more than others, admittedly.
I don't ban the use of Saints word in here.
Yeah, I think you guys can at least understand what I'm saying, though, to a degree, when you want your game that you enjoy to at least have some slight acknowledgement that when it gets brought up, that people are at least accepting of the idea without even, before you even mention anything else about it, that they know that it is somewhat a positive acknowledgement publicly. Because I can kind of still get that with Genshin in real life, just not online. And I think it's a weird inverse for ZZ, at least that's the interpretation I have, is that people in real life, they see it as the Goon game, but online, it's seen as like a bit of the black sheep, admittedly, but still seen relatively positively. Unless you actively play ZZ, then you hate the endgame boss content.
I was always frustrated at the idea of like Redditors or Twitter posters just talking about Tectone but not saying his name. I always found that like the stupidest fucking thing. Like,
yeah, like Germany in the 1930s.
Like the idea. Well, no, the idea is that you want to talk about somebody, but you also don't want to say his name, so that to try and minimize the exposure the person gets by not saying their name. But in my opinion, that's fucking stupid, and it doesn't work, because what happens is that, I want to talk about Tectone in forums. I want to talk about Tectone on Reddit, but I'm not going to use his name so people don't like go start looking at Tectone. Okay, so I make a post talking about Tectone without using his name. What happens? People look at the post. They then ask, "Who are you talking about?" And then a completely different person then says Tectone, and then they go check anyway. You fucking idiot.
I think any of us that are actually playing Girls Frontline, I think the same thing can be said about Girls Frontline with like the fucking Kluke skin drama. Is that you, especially Girls Frontline, because it's so much more niche, you want GFL2 to succeed. You think GFL2 is pretty good. It has some rough spots, admittedly, or it had its rough spots. I still haven't played the new story. I have 4 days off of work. I'm actually going to do it over these 4 days off. You want GFL2 to succeed. You think GFL1 has a badass story, and you kind of like GFL2 and like the content it brings. You think like Peak Value Assessment has an amazing XCOM style strategy gameplay. You love the characters, you love the art and stuff like that. But then you go online and it's just nothing about the It's just Klukai skin bad. And then the Klukai skin comes out and turns out like they give you a bunch of free pulls for it. and then it's only like fucking $100. I realize it's kind of ridiculous to say only $100, but you get my point. You compare it to like trying to get a skin like in fucking Nikkei in one of their gachas, and bear in mind, Nikkei has like 7 fucking gacha skins every month. This is one. This is one, and the next one we know about is Lorelei, which is basically a year from now.
No confirmation on that. No confirmation on that. I might be spewing shit out my ass. I don't know where I read that. I might be misinformed. Don't take that to heart.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shall we resume?
Mm-hmm.
Narrative experience and starts being a barrier to entry. It becomes a burden, and the idea that a real RPG don't let you skip is just false. Look at Baldur's Gate 3. It is arguably the greatest RPG of the decade. It has a skip button. Even visual novels like Doki Doki Literature Club have a skip button. Asking for a skip button isn't about hating.
Realistically,
The reason why Genshin doesn't have a skip button is because Genshin makes enough money to not give a shit about adding a skip button. That's all there is to it.
That is true, but also the original reason why they have it, and I just think it's so obvious, is that if you don't skip, there's a higher possibility that maybe, just slightly, maybe 1% that somebody will be hooked on a character they otherwise didn't know anything about before, and now they think they're really cute or funny or ha ha ha, they're my now waifu husbando. That's why they never added a skip button. That's why none of these gacha games ever add a fucking skip button initially. Chaos Zero Nightmare has a skip button.
Nah, I
disagree. Can't use it on first cutscene. Why?
I disagree.
Because if you see a character you like, you might gotcha for that character.
I disagree. I think the lack of a skip button is just something they have in the back of their pocket. So if Genshin ever gets in like a really bad downward trend, they can whip it out and then get some positive publicity back and then keep the game going. That's my opinion. There are hundreds of things that these guys
nice tinfoil hat right now.
Bullshit. There are hundreds of things that all of these gacha games can do better that everyone will love. And the important thing is they know that. They know exactly what they can do to get easy brownie points with their community. So they hoard that stuff and pretend like they don't see an issue, so that when the game goes on a downward trend, they then suddenly whip it out as like some sort of peace offering to get people to come back to the game. That's my opinion.
I mean, in general, like a skip button should exist because there are just inherently people that just don't have time. If you had a skip button, like, yes, you're probably going to have people that will just genuinely skip every cutscene, play the game for a week, not understand the story, and then just quit, right? But like, you should still have the skip button there inherently for like, shit, I'm stuck in a cutscene. I only have 30 minutes for work. Like, you should add that. Admittedly, you should. Okay.
Well, I think, also just the reason why the skip button is so demanded for in Genshin is just because the dialogue bloat, the numerous amount of I'm gonna anyway. If you get to yap, I get to yap too. This is my fucking live stream. The dialogue bloat, the needless amount of like NPCs that people don't care about, and obviously like the fixation on like proper nouns and stuff to like establish the world, but at some point like you get so many proper nouns thrown at you with each new like story arc that you just stop caring. All right, I'm good.
HSR versus Genshin dialogue bloat, which is worse?
HSR has less game that is locked, but is being held hostage by story content. Genshin, on the other hand, has exploration and combat.
But is that
that might be withheld to you.
Worse, though, because HSR the only.
Oh yeah, it has been 3 hours.
Effectively, is the bloat.
Okay, I'm gonna resume.
It's only been 3 hours. Realistically, we were probably not going to have fucking ZZ gameplay tonight. I mean, he might still play ZZ gameplay, but like realistically, guys, does anybody really? I know I don't.
This was literally.
I don't want to see him.
The title is called "Relaxing with Brother." Open to suggestions tonight, and this is what we're doing tonight by suggestion.
Yeah. Play the video. Maybe someone in chat will have a suggestion. Maybe they'll just want to watch
consent, right?
Again.
2025 consent is so good. It is about respecting the players enough to let them engage with the parts of the game.
Wait, she's kind of cute. Shut up for a second, Glaive. I do own I did pull a Fiorina, by the way. I did come back for the Fiorina patch.
Yeah, that's the girl everybody likes. That's Fiorina.
Yeah. Yeah, she's kind of cute. I'll admit, as a C6 R5 Raiden user, I can understand the Farina. I can understand the Farina.
I put Arikado and Freckles on these rails. Homie, if you ask me to talk about napkins, I will take 4 hours of your life away. Okay? I can talk about anything and everything. Ask anybody I know in real life. Okay?
To let them engage with the parts of the game they love and bypass the part that they don't. I want to watch Venti's quest because I care about Venti. I love him, but I don't want to be held hostage by a side quest just to fix my character's kit. Like, who cares about Mona? I mean, you do.
Me? I kind of lost $2,000 when this game came out because of Mona and because I didn't understand gacha.
Yeah, Mona, he had his sights set on Mona the
Also,
moment
wait,
this game came out.
How are you gonna sit here and say who cares about Mona? You picked the word. Why not pick Razor? Why are you gonna say Mona and then unironically piss off Mona simps? What the fuck are you doing?
Who are the characters that are getting buffed? I feel like there's a worse example than Razor.
No, Razor's the worst one. It just straight up is.
No, you're right. Yeah, Razor is just really bad.
Hold on,
No, I
hold
hate
on.
Bennett. I fucking hate Bennett, but he's not getting buffed, right?
No, he's not. He's fine.
Okay, I hate Bennett. I fucking hate Bennett.
Okay, real quick. The characters getting buffed are Venti, Flea, Albedo, Mona, Durin. I don't fucking know why this is released. Razor, Fischl, Sucrose. And funnily enough, in this whole list, Sucrose needs it the least. Like, she does the thing you want her to do. I don't understand why she's in the list other than narrative because Albedo.
Okay.
Probably. I don't. Wanting that agency doesn't make you a hater. It just means you value your time. And I shouldn't be harassed for that. God. Now let's go to the next point.
You valued your time playing a gacha game. Like, I'm gonna say it right now. If you wanna value your time, don't play any one of these fucking games. It doesn't matter which one you play. Don't play any of them. You want to value your time. Don't play a fucking gacha game.
Again, he implies that he wants his buff, but he doesn't want to spend 40 minutes, which bear in mind, again, he spent more time making that section about how he doesn't want to spend 40 minutes. He spent more time recording, editing, setting B-roll, all this stuff. He's probably spent more than 40 minutes, and in that time, he could have gotten the buff he clearly wants. Oh my god.
No, we're not we are here for my brother's reaction because this is some juicy shit, all right?
I retracted my paint analogy earlier because yes, the base tools in Miliastra are free, but let's talk about why they are free, right? They are free because Hoyoverse needs us to build the game for them. During dry patches,
oh yeah, this is the Miliastra's Wonderland like free labor shit.
No. We can let this play. I already said my
like
take
version
on this
6.1, Miliastra Wonderland relies entirely on unpaid player labor to generate levels and keep engagement high. We are the ones building the content.
Hold on. Pause. I'll speed run this for anybody who wasn't here earlier. This is retarded because Halo Forge. This is retarded because anything Minecraft related. This is retarded because of Dota 2, anything custom, and that game always sees like 1 million people every day. This is stupid because of any game that has a user-generated content sphere that doesn't have payment attached to it. Skyrim modding, for fuck's sake. People do it for the love of the game, and Glaive somehow cannot get this through their sick skull. It is a joke. This person never played Halo growing up, and it shows. Go.
What is our reward for keeping their game alive? The opportunity to gamble on a separate, expensive cosmetic gacha? This is what I mean by monetizing the ecosystem. We provide the labor, the levels, the fun, the reason to log in. In a fair trade, $1 billion company would reward that labor with high-quality skins, earnable in-game every patch. Instead, the best outfits are locked behind the Ode banner, or in my opinion, the paid battle pass. It feels exploitative because the relationship is one-sided. Defending that as
I know his ass did not say that mage skin was the best skin. What you think that mage skin is leagues ahead of any of these skins that you can just spend $15 to get right here, right now. Now, granted, this is a subjective argument on a subjective argument. In Milster Wonderland, simply Tato. He's saying that the Roblox game mode inside of Genshin, where there is a gacha where you can get one specific like outfit you can't get outside of it. He's saying it's the best and it's locked behind it, and he's using this as a talking point, as like a negative talking point. That shit, that skin is not the best. It genuinely
does it have visual effects?
It has visual effects, but they're really not that like super.
What
well
about hair
done.
color? Does it come with hair?
Yeah, it does come with unique hair and hair color. So
Also,
admittedly, if you want
if I'm being
to
honest,
customize your character like that, yeah.
also this pose kind of makes the outfit look like it has more depth. But I bet this outfit actually looks pretty flat when you're just in default standing pose A.
It's pretty
Also,
flat.
candles on the hat. Like, really? I'm not a fan of shit like this, if I'm being honest. Like, in Warhammer, like, sure, yeah, I'll take candles every day and scripture and seals.
Pull up real quick so chat can see what I mean. The two skins I bought are the Painter and the Alice in Wonderland. If you can find them. I'll try and find them.
This is the Alice in Wonderland skin, and this is the male and female version. Okay.
And you could just buy that directly for 10 to 15 bucks. You don't have to do the gacha for the mage skin. This is just a direct purchase for 15 bucks.
And this is the painter skin. He mix and matches some of these pieces.
Yeah, and you can mix and match the pieces. That's irrelevant, though. These are the two skins that I bought in Milestone Wonderland. I'm not getting that mage skin, and I'm definitely not getting the next skin for, like, Christmas.
Who the fuck is Saedra? From HSR, Tato? Are you talking about from HSR, Tato?
I'm not sure who he's talking. Siradra? I don't know what we fucked up
why
with.
would I dislike Siradra? She doesn't have any candles on her. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't understand what they're talking about either.
I happen to think Siradra looks kind of cute. I like the juxtaposition of a very hoity-toity royal looking girl on a with a chessboard aesthetic while also being pretty petite. Flaming crown? That's not a fucking candle. That's not a candle. Candle-like flame on a crown? No, I just mean the idea of having a candle just sitting on top, burning on a hat. Because all I'm thinking while that candle is burning is, man, shouldn't the candle have already melted and just the wax be just falling off the hat at that point? It's a stupid complaint, I know, but like, it's a stupid complaint, but that's
real
just
quick.
The way I see it.
I'm actually interested in chat. Pull up the witch skin and put it to the right. Do you guys agree with me? Again, this is a fucking subjective argument. Do you guys agree with me that the Alice in Wonderland and the Painter skin, at least the female, because the mage is female, do you agree with me that the Painter and the Alice in Wonderland, which bear in mind are $15 direct purchase, is better than the mage? Okay, we got to vote for the witch skin. We said someone say sure, but I don't actually know what's in
Is this skin purchasable?
Mork agrees with me.
Is this one purchasable?
That's direct purchase. That's direct purchase.
Okay, I like this one.
Yeah, that's direct purchase.
Is this a dude? Hold on. This must be the dude version? Okay, this is the dude version of the skin. Show that.
To be fair, there are some blue rarity skins because this is like the witch is the legendary. There actually are 3 skins you can only get while rolling the gacha, but like you get like this rebate currency you can buy it directly with in the shop. That's direct purchase. That skin, I love that. I love that skin a lot. I kind of want that skin. The cute ninja girl, the shinobi girl. Again, $15. That is actually, admittedly, that's actually one of the skins inside the mage gacha. It's like purple rarity.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate. So technically, they do have other skins in the gacha, but again, these direct purchase ones are amazing. Like these are great, and my hope. Here's the thing. Okay, and we'll see this with Wonderland as time goes forward. If they keep making skins you can direct purchase, that will be amazing. If they stop with all the current ones that are direct purchase, then it will be a shit show, okay? If they eventually only make like from here on forth, if all the new skins are only in
I am a belly dancer enjoyer over here, baby.
That's awesome.
Fuck.
So okay, let me try and provide a ratio. 20 skins are direct purchase right now. 4 to 5 of them are in the gacha.
Okay, hold on. What about this one? What about this one?
That's new. I I think that's might be the battle pass.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that like anime art where it's like the girl and during Christmas just kind of holding your cheeks in like a POV? That's how I feel.
Dude, I
looking
want
at
that skin. Okay. I don't know where that's new. That hasn't come out yet. That's probably next patch. I hope that's battle pass. I would get that for the girl. That's really cute.
Okay. Just
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know where this came from. But yeah, Alice in Wonderland and Painter Girl, I love those two.
all right. Anyways, resuming.
Business isn't positivity, it is accepting a bad deal. And regarding the new boss fights, people called me a Doom poster for pretending it would be restrictive. They said I was crying before the content was even out.
Oh, I
But this
don't
isn't
want
blind
to see
hate,
boss.
it is pattern recognition.
Something about like nod cry requirements.
Oh, well, that's currently in the game.
Just paying attention. And even the biggest lovers of the game have complained about this exact same restrictive design in the past. We are seeing the exact same problem. I'm just the one saying it out loud before the patch drops. And if the boss isn't restrictive and it's actually good, hey, you got me. But until then, I'm gonna stand on business. And finally, we have to talk about quality of life. The irony here that even the most positive voices in the community admit that the daily commission system is outdated. They agree that running to Catherine is just commute. So here's my question. If even the biggest defenders of the game admit that Genshin is lagging behind its sister games like Star Rail and Zone Zero, why am I the villain for putting it in a script? It is not bad faith to ask Genshin to meet the standards set by its own developers. It is not nitpicking to ask the oldest child in the Hoyoverse family is the only one still treating our time like it doesn't matter. I don't want the game to fail. And that's surprising, right? I don't. I just wanted to catch up. When you strip away all of the drama, the tweets, the reaction videos, the dislike ratio, the conflict here isn't actually about love versus hate. It is about contentment versus ambition. A large part of the community looks at Genshin Impact as it exists today, and they're happy. They see a finished product and they enjoy it for what it is. And that is a valid way to play. Hey, good for you. And I mean this genuinely, good for you. But I look at Genshin Impact and I see what it could be. I criticize the game because I see the potential being held back by stubborn design choices. I see a world that could be more respectful of our time, system that could be more respectful of our wallets, and gameplay that could
And they think he's gonna work with a wolf's gravestone. That's fucking hilarious.
He's gonna have his own unique sword. They just kind of do that whenever a character has like a weapon and they're not like out yet. They always give them some kind of like, for
Be more
instance, Nahida had a fucking the 1-star claymore.
respectful of our intelligence. I made factual mistakes in my last video regarding the patch history, and I apologize. I'm sorry. I own it, but I will not apologize for having standards. I want the game to
Oh,
respect
no,
my
yeah,
time
sorry.
with better quality of life features. I want it to respect my money by not monetizing community labor, and I want it to respect my agency by letting me build teams that make sense rather than teams that
Community
just
labor, I can't, man. I think the community labor is like that comment is like far worse than they're hiding the buffs behind quests. Like, how do you just openly say? How do you openly say
Hold
it's
on,
community labor
hold on.
and
30
never have
30
played
seconds
Halo?
left.
It's
Let's
a broken mechanic. And here's the bottom line. I would rather be wrong about a specific patch number and have to correct myself than be dishonest about the reality of the game just to keep the peace, just to go away from the drama life, just to be, oh, so this positive creator. No, I'm not about that.
I don't
Let me
want to
what you
know
think in the comment
leaks,
section. If I missed anything,
Yopan.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't want to know leaks.
Okay, anyway.
Please, no leaks, no leaks, no leaks, no leaks. I don't want leaks when I do Genshin. Please, no.
It seems some people think apologizing for factual errors while standing by my opinions on the game's systems is doubling down. If standing by my critique that Genshin needs better quality of life and less restricted buffs makes me a hypocrite because I also spend money on the game, then sure, I'm a hypocrite. I'm a whale who wants the product I buy to be better. I don't see that as a contradiction. I see it as having standards. I've said my piece. I owe my mistakes. I'm done talking about drama. I got awesome videos queued up. Look forward to it. Thanks to the real ones sticking around. Edit this drama. LOL. Just realized he didn't even touch the showing Alice right now as predatory situation. I don't even know what you're talking about. Spending 1K on Nefer, just locked his apology behind not addressing the problems with the video. How do we feel about that?
Okay.
Sorry, but I'm not sorry.
So, you wanted me to watch this video, and a lot of people wanted me to watch this video. Well, I say a
Is
lot, it was
anyone
like-
even talking about like the labor thing?
Okay, well, I'm not gonna read the comment section. Okay, you wanted me to react to it. Oh shit, I closed it. That means closing chat as well. I can't read chat. I'm so sorry, chat. Close the wrong thing.
Damn, people are not happy with this response at all. He is getting
Of course they're
dumped
not.
on.
He just shit on the whole Halo community.
No one's even
Finish my comment
talking
if you
about. No
have
one's even talking about the user generated content.
Did you finish Chrono's comment?
I left it up. I highlighted a few things like at the latter half, but I think I got the gist of it. Okay.
Okay. Is it time to like do actual video games rather than spending an hour reacting to one video? Here's the thing.
We could spend I mean if there's another video.
Here's the thing. I was fine doing that because again, like I said in one like a few of the other streams, guys, I am somebody who never interacts online. I am somebody who never somebody who interacts online with gotcha game creators or spaces or Reddit or anything like that. I just play the game, enjoy the game, talk with a handful of people I know, and just kind of generally just kind of enjoy my time. So when I like come online over 5 years and passively see some, people talk about things in a way that just seems disingenuous, and having to just kind of sit here and see that for 5+ years, like the Genshin bad rhetoric, a lot of that just got dumped right here, right now onto what we're talking about. So that's just the vibe. So I'm happy everybody was here and just allowing themselves to like listen to me. And
Oh, great. I'm not going to
yeah.
pay attention to this Loki shit. If he wants to cover it, be my guest. I'm not interested in fucking talking about Loki.
So yeah, I appreciate everybody here listening to me and giving my opinions some air. And yeah. Bought Hogwarts Legacy. I like it, but it isn't a Hogwarts game that you play as a
Jazz
student.
Roy.
More like
I mean,
you
I'll
are
ta-
the
I'll take
chosen
it.
one trope. Yeah, I'm sick of games that have the chosen one trope.
Also, it's weird that I'm told in Hogwarts Legacy that you can just use the curses without any repercussions, despite the
No,
fact
yeah,
that
you can just say Avada Kedavra and just, that's it.
male characters don't sell well. 2 minutes, 23 seconds. The full history of Anomaly. Everything wrong with ZZ. We really need to buff Hugo. Wait, what the fuck does this guy mean? Male characters don't sell, followed
They do sell, you just
a
need
clown
to make it
emoji and lie. Hold on.
I'm sure Finon sold. You bet Finon sold. I absolutely
Hold
bet
on,
Finon
hold on. This is 2 minutes. I'll give the guy the opportunity for his day in
minutes.
court.
All right, chat, make popcorn. It's gonna be 20 minutes.
Cool.
Male characters don't sell well. I hear this all
It was
the
nice to hear the perspective on someone not deep into the Genshin drama. Yeah, like I'm just a passerby that gets screamed at by someone on the fucking sidewalk. And I just basically gave everybody my feeling as someone who got screamed on the sidewalk for 5 years straight. That's the way it feels.
We're not. This is a Kaiser. This is a relaxing with brother, open to suggestions tonight. It just so happens that we are reacting to stuff because Tato asked. This ain't react slop. This is being a slave to the audience. There is a very, very specific difference, Kaiser. All right.
and I think it's a bunch of horseradish. First off, male characters don't sell poorly, they just get released less often. You can't
If they get released less often. Okay, no. I see where he's going with this because he's going to talk about because then this lets people consolidate their polls to then just dump it all when a male finally comes out. Wooba 10 out of 43, HSR ZZZ 11 out of 45, 25 out of 80, 35 out of 107.
expect high sales from
crazy when you think
something
about it.
that
Genshin
barely
has a
shows up.
1
It doesn't
in-
matter that 8 out of
1
10
in 3,
characters are
everyone else is a
female.
1 in
Just look at
4.
the chart, bro. It's clear. Male characters sold shit, bro. You're gay. Second, it's not that male characters don't sell well. It's that
You're
shit
gay.
products don't sell well. It's that lazy design doesn't sell. Male characters often get weaker kits, weaker marketing, and weaker promotion.
Lighter was good. Okay, Haramasa was Karamasa was free and garbage.
Sunday.
Lighter was.
Sunday.
We're talking about ZZZ. We're trying to keep it in the confines of ZZZ. I don't know the situation with Sunday. Hugo was good, kind of. It was just dependent on your stunner. It was more dependent on your stunners than it was Hugo, if I'm being entirely honest. So like Lighter was great. Haramasa was free and not all that good. Hugo's strength was kind of out of your hands, kind of. And then Bon Yu is on his way, but it's not looking good.
John Harvey, fine on carrying HSR on his back. Nope, he's in this together, hand in hand with every Amphorius character. I will go to bat in saying that the entire Amphorius cast is fucking amazing. Now, granted, maybe Finon did do some heavy lifting during his patch release because people were still kind of trying to feel out Amphorius. But ultimately, I think at the end of Amphorius, here at 3.7, about to be 3.8, I think the entire Amphorius cast has now basically reached a status where everybody has a large amount of love, not only just exclusively.
Here's a thought. Here's a thought for a second. What I've never considered this for a second. What if the ZZZ team make a bunch of female characters because they just like making female characters? So I want to find something for a second.
That's actually a good point. I dislike the story of Amphorius. That is sad. And here's the thing. I'm not going to shit on you for it. I just think that's sad. You're entitled to your opinion, and I respect your opinion. But I think that's a little bit sad.
Okay, hold on a second. I need to dig. I need to find a very specific Xenoblade Chronicles. I need to find a very specific video by K-Bash. And I need to find the Xenoblade
Remember
2
this is 2
section.
minutes video. It's going to be fast.
Yeah. Isn't this the fun part? It's always the fun part.
But Amphoria sucks. It's just the characters are too hyped. Look, it is a long story. I've said that. So if that is your complaint, it's a valid complaint.
This was an interview about the development of.
Fired.
This is a video from K-Bash
Maybe he's
about
booming.
and this is an excerpt from an interview that K-Bash put out for his Xenoblade 2 video. So it says, this is from the one of the designers, I quote. So, quote, "We worked with a large number of character designers on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because if you don't know, in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the characters or the blades you pull for in the game, all the major story blades are designed by one game designer who's like the main designer for like the Xenoblade games, and all of like the optional blades that are not like mandatory for like the game story or essential to the game story, they're like more optional content. They were designed by like freelance artists, and then their designs was then given to like the Xenoblade team to work with.
Just like a lot of like older gacha games where they like how like the 2D art, like some characters look completely different from others. That's why. It's because
So we worked with a large number of character designers on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and when giving our requests for character designs to them, we didn't get so far as to specify whether we wanted male characters, female characters, or beasts. So they basically just said, design a character for our game, and then they just did it. Instead, we gave them elements of those characters and how would we like them to perform in battle. So they gave like a rough outline of like a rough concept and idea, and then like how they want to perform in battle, but no specifics. We left it up to the designers at that point, and we ended up with a lot of females. And I think that's the best answer I can give. So this was a response as to why there were so many female characters that made it into the game. It was because they hired a bunch of people and told them, you just need to do this, this, and this for your character. The rest you can do whatever you want. And then these guys came back and said, hey, you like women? Because we like women. There you go. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Is what happens is that the character designers in the ZZZ team of Hoyoverse, there's a possibility that the reason why there's so many female characters, aside from like all the other reasons, is that maybe the designers just enjoy making female characters, and that's just about it.
Do you think both can exist at the same time though?
No, absolutely both can exist.
If anything, the acknowledgement of the designers like making women, wouldn't that just also be an acknowledgement of the designers themselves being a reflection of the type of people engaged in this?
No. Arwen brings up a good point, which is that one of the lead art designers for ZZZ is artist called by the name of Waterkuma, and he's very like female character designing leaning. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, both things can absolutely exist.
All right, let's resume with the video.
Look at Hugo and Anaxa in ZZZ and HSR. They were released next to Castoris and Yishuan, characters who clearly got more push, and even then, the guys still held their own, if we're being fair. Third, the idea that husbando pullers are a minority is just wrong. People don't pull characters because of some romance fantasy alone. It's not the only reason. It's one of the reasons. People pull because the character looks cool, plays well, has a strong kid, or they might be romantically interested in them in this weird age we're living in anyway. Gender is just
that's also not mutually exclusive. That's not mutually exclusive to male characters per se either. Female characters can also be pulled because people think they look cool. Like if I were to pull the female characters up, I think Evelyn is cool in a hot way. I think where's another one?
I think all the reasons he listed is Nouvelette for me.
I think
Like you could
I
easily
think
have a
Trigger. I
character
think
that
Trigger is cool
all the
in because she's a blind because of the blind sniper archetype. I think Zhu Yuan is cool because like she's like a kitted out police officer that has like this gun with multiple pieces and parts to it. I think Poker is cool from like a mercenary aesthetic, like not even talking about like the gooner shit. I'd say Anbi's not even a zero. Soldier Zero Anbi's not even all that sexualized, but she's just cool, you know. It's just the idea that you get to see Anbi herself like in with her military training, something that you kind of had a possible you could might have theorized about Anbi before it was even confirmed.
You want my
Soldier
opinion?
11 is cool. She's not that very sexualized.
Can I give an opinion?
Yeah.
I think every male has been absolutely, some way more than others. I think every male in ZZZ has been absolutely basically been fucking phoned in until Banyu. And it shows because of look at how many people want Banyu and how many people get upset about Banyu problem number 7 of the week. Banyu 1 week less banner. Banyu is this. Banyu is that.
Banyu's in a patch. Banyu's in Bonway's in a patch where where two like major characters are missing voice lines. Bonway is in a patch that's controversial because of one new boss that everyone doesn't like. Banyu has a 2-week banner cycle. Banyu is sharing a banner cycle with the rerun of an unperceived unpopular character of Ellen Jo. Banyu is sandwiched between an insane stunner and potentially the strongest character that we will see in version 2 of ZCZ.
Yeah, and funnily enough, you see this frustration from the community about Banyu because he's the first male design that is actually fucking awesome. And here's the thing, Lighter is cool. Admittedly, Lighter is cool, though he is kind of restrictive. Hugo is cool, but he's also insanely restrictive in how you would want to play him, and he leans off stunners, which again, there's a lot of female stunners in that regard. Banyu is a Rupture character, and as we've seen, Rupture is a playstyle that usually leans a lot more on the Rupture character just kind of doing everything themselves, and the other characters just kind of support that. So I think this is a clear understanding that I feel like everything up to Banyu has been kind of phoned in from like males, just straight up phoned in.
All right, let's.
That's the way I look at it.
One of the reasons male characters can have the same broad appeal female characters have. They just aren't treated that way. 4. Love and Deep Space.
Please stop bringing up the fucking Love and Deep Space example. Fucking Hoyo players are not playing Love and Deep Space. I'm sorry. I don't mean this. I don't mean this specifically. I don't mean this specifically against Jazzroy. But I'm gonna push back against anyone who references Love and Deep Space. Okay, the people that are playing and spending money in Love and Deep Space are not the same people that are playing and spending money in these other games. And Love and Deep Space is this successful because there is a gap in the market. There is a gap in the market for women having their fantasies with hypersexualized males. Which, by the way, I want to point something out for a second. Is that earlier in this video, like 20 seconds ago, Jazzroy was saying that male characters don't need to be sexualized. People can pull for males just for being cool. But then he immediately uses an example of a game that specifically targets female audiences by sexualizing males. Now, I think that's a contradiction in my opinion, to say, oh, you don't need to sexualize males for them to sell, and then uses an example, but then the biggest example for quote unquote successful male characters is a game that sells its males by sexualizing them for a female audience. This game has a period tracker. Does this game confirm to have a period tracker?
A period tracker?
Yes, period tracker.
Please explain, because my imagination is running wild.
Hold on.
Chad, he's not explaining my
Why
imagination.
was the
Wild. It's
period
that time of the month.
Why was the period tracking feature added to Love in Deep Space? Interview via 4Gamer by the developers.
What is period tracking, though? Is it literally what my imagination is thinking?
Yes, period tracker for women.
As in time of the month. Are we serious? Yes, Ari brother, it's real. Now here's the thing. Facebook did crazy tracking as well. It's an off-topic example. You guys will see what I mean when I say this. That's a lot of yes. That kind of terrifies me. Anyway, reminds me of when Facebook, I think it was Facebook, they tracked statistics on young girls that would take a selfie of themselves and then delete it shortly afterwards, because that was like an example of having self-confidence issues, and then they would proceed to blast those accounts with makeup ads. This is a real actual thing, and this is what the period tracker makes me think of, is the example of when Facebook, if you had your 15-year-old daughter take a selfie of herself and then delete it in like the next minute, Facebook actively tracked that to then decide, okay, this person probably has self-confidence issues. We're going to spam them with makeup ads. So the period tracker, while it does sound crazy, I can believe it, because something like that with Facebook exists. It will make those women spend money on the game. Yes. Ay, ay, ay.
Okay, but anyway, yeah. I just want to point that out, is that Love in Deep Space has its own audience, and that audience will not, there is not that much overlap between the Love in Deep Space audience and the Hoyoverse audience. And also, he says that you don't need to sexualize characters, and then brings up his Smoking Gun is a game that sexualizes his characters to sell them to women.
Yeah, it's not exactly the best example.
The fact that a game like this exists with only male characters and succeeds at that scale,
it succeeds because it's literally the only one. It's the only one at that scale. It's not competing with anybody. Nobody goes to Hoyoverse games to play Tears of Themis. Let's get that out of the way right now. Love in Deep Space is successful because nobody's competing with Love in Deep Space.
I bet you there is a large percentage of the Tears of Themis players that don't even know the company that make Tears of Themis. If you ask them, they probably are just like, it kind of rings a bell, or it comes to my head. They're not. They're probably people that on the App Store, they see hot.
You're not going to get thirsty women to play this game.
You mean thirsty men?
Nope, women. Thirsty women. This is Tears of Themis. You're not going to get thirsty women to play this game. This is an actual Teletubbies collab. You see that up there? Tears of Themis? Teletubbies? Yeah.
I'm confused. You keep saying you're not going to get women to play this game. I think you mean men, right?
No, you're not going to get women to play this game over Love in Deep Space. They're gonna go play Love in Deep Space.
Love in Deep Space. Okay. No. Yeah. I was misunderstanding.
Okay.
Yeah. Teletubbies collab. It's something.
Characters do not sell well, bro. You're just gay. Conclusion.
Hold on, chat. Hold on.
I don't even think this isn't even like a gay thing. This isn't a gay thing. This is just you're not understanding the market.
I have actively seen women go online and literally on camera say they would fuck the dog from Bluey. If you don't know what Bluey is, Google it. Google it. It is literally a show about a fucking cartoon dogs, and I have seen someone on camera, a woman, actively say, "Man, you know the daddy dog. I would fuck that. I would fuck that dog. I would fuck that dog right now."
Do I need to bring up the Morning Glory milking farm?
Yeah. By the way, we're not talking Jay Schlatt style. I'm fucking the dog either.
Okay, let's.
Were given the same effort, attention, and frequency as female characters, they would perform just as well. The audience is there. The demand is there. The problem is the industry, not the players. But I don't want to rub people
Hello,
the wrong
K-Maker,
way.
bro.
If a game releases and there's like 70% female characters and 30% male characters, it's completely fine. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem when people say the reason we don't get male characters, it's because they just don't sell well, bro. You don't understand. I went to business school. That just pisses me off so much, and I think it's a very false statement that people just
Business school. Okay. I mean, does anyone here want to denounce? Does anyone here want to? Does anyone want here believe that because you got a degree in X, Y, and Z, that automatically means that your opinion should be held with more regard? Now, society at large would tell you that if you had a degree, that yes, you should be taking into consideration the opinions of someone else. Seriously. This is the gacha industry. The gacha industry is an anomaly, an abnormality by pretty much every single metric when it comes to like any other form of like entertainment media. So I don't really know if you can tackle this subject matter the same way you can with anything else. And that includes the business degree. But if you want to make the argument that because you went to business school that you have a better understanding than this, then you are more than welcome to. But I think you might be missing the forest for the trees on this one.
People went crazy for Zhao back in the day. That was
Let me make something clear, okay? If people can spend upwards of hundreds of dollars for one character, that is one of the worst value propositions you could ask for in video games in general. For the price of a Nintendo Switch, you can get one character in a gacha game, and that does not even account for their teammates, and that does not even account for their signature weapons. That is a bad value proposition. You don't need a business degree. You don't need a business degree to understand that. And yet, so many people, like myself included, who would normally look at like a $60, look at an $80, like I look at an $80 game and I think, nah, fuck that, I don't want that. But then I turn right around and spend hundreds of dollars to get like fucking extra copies of Ellen Joe. Do you like? The gacha space is a abnormality that pulls on people's emotions and their personal investment in shit, or just appeals to like their very base primal instincts. Okay, I don't think you can take a business degree in here and come out the other end. You know, that's just my opinion.
You can get a psychology degree, and that would work infinitely better.
I got to be honest. I've watched plenty of like videos like criticizing the gacha industry and gacha in general, and that uses like quotes from psychology and like explores the psychology of it, and all I can think of is, I didn't need you to tell me that. I already understood that, because I can take a step back and look at how I myself have gone through that very same thing, because I'm conscious of that fact, you know. But like yeah, isn't that the fun thing about Reacts? You turn it into your own work. Okay.
Good reacts. Not reacts that get you into
smart.
lawsuits.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching. This was a quick one. I was just...
Okay, what's the comments say? 132 comments. A lot of people are quoting me without the full context. So here's the core point. Male characters don't sell worse. They're released less. So the odds of pulling one are already low, and when a male unit flops, well, okay, technically, I think something that he's missing out here is not just the fact that they is lower pulling odds. It's also the fact that if you are waiting for a male character, you probably have a bunch of pulls saved up anyway, because you're skipping all the women anyway. But I don't understand why this isn't brought up. Not to suck my own dick here, but I think I did a better job covering this in 2 different separate videos. It's usually because they were given less effort, weaker kits, or trash banner timing. Now I will agree that male characters, at least in ZZZ, seem to be more so just exist as like filler slots that most people just effectively use as an opportunity to save in time for the next character. not
I'm
because
just getting
players
upset
don't
at that
want
video
guys.
on the bottom right that says Genshin Impact biggest competitor steps up. Oh wow, you literally beat Mavica, the worst written like character in the game when it comes to the personality. Congratulations, you beat Genshin's worst person.
I want to point. I'm not going to watch this, but I just want to point out that this is an issue I have with Wuthering Waves content creators is that their cult like behavior will literally just hype up the reveal of a gacha splash art before the character is even come out. You don't know if this character is you don't know if this character's quality is going to be on the same level as Mavwika. Now, in my opinion, I think a lot of people will say when it comes to Mavwika that the bar is already quite low to begin with. So, what do I know?
Mavwika's the worst. Bear in mind, that's the worst. So just think of any random 4-star.
Oh wow. What do you know? What do you fucking know? The moment I look at the pinned comment, the second thing he brings up is fucking Love in Deep Space being a bad example. It's almost like when people mention Love in Deep Space, they don't think about it for a second. They just say it and put it out on the internet. But the existence of a massively successful male-only game shows the idea that male characters can't sell. Isn't... Okay, nope, never mind. He's doubling down. It's smut. It's smut, sure, but it's high-quality smut. What? Like... So are you walking it back or are you doubling down? I'm not sure what he's trying to do here.
You're creating a discussion point and then immediately trying to delete that discussion point in the same parentheses.
Also Fine On is backed up by the fact that he's an XP of Kevin from Honkai Impact 3rd. So obviously he was going to get a lot of pampered treatment because of his significance in the wider Honkai universe and older Hoyoverse legacy games that kind of built their company to begin with. But also, I also want to point out that Honkai Impact 3rd was a female exclusive game, so make of that if you will.
Kevin, you killed Kevin.
You killed him. Did you kill Kevin as Raiden? Did you actually watch the boss fight?
I never went back to do anything. I just know people said that.
Hello, Hot Sushi.
Final boss and Kiana's on the moon, but I never went and actually looked at anything.
Hello, Hot Sushi. We just watched a male characters don't sell video by this guy named Jazz Roy. Just got recommended to.
People still have a favorability to Kevin Castellana, no? I'm gonna be honest. Back when me and him played, Kevin was not really all that interesting as a character. So I don't know what they did during version, I want to say 4.4 going forward when we stopped playing. What they did to improve his character. But it was something, I guess.
He is Kevin in the first in the earlier between
at that time we just knew him as Kevin. The whole plot twist is he's Castellana, but they never tell you. We just knew him as Kevin.
No, I knew he was Castellana.
No, back when we played, back during the story that you watched me play, he was only known as Kevin back then. They never.
I knew he was Castellana. I knew he was Castellana.
Okay, all right.
Don't.
They never said it when I was playing. Don't gaslight me. Bro. I'm not gaslighting you. I'm saying that the one that physically.
Anyway, all I really knew about Kevin for the entire time I played is that he just led an accelerationist group for the typical evolve humanity yada 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 or what was it, accelerationist, or was it just whatever cost necessary to exterminate the Honkai threat? Simply male characters sell. Characters sell well when they're treated well, and characters like Finon, Zhongli, Venti, Sunday, etc. prove it. Venti's not a good example because he was when Genshin first came out. He only recently is getting some treatment. Zhongli. I think Zhongli's.
Venti is a good example. What are you talking about?
Well, only
he's old, he's dated, but he's a good example.
After he got buffed, yeah. Zhongli, I think Zhongli is kind of a hard example to use because Zhongli also, when he came out, kind of represented China. So when he came out, quote unquote, balanced, they weren't having that and they lost their shit until he got buffed. So
you have to bear in mind that also Zhongli came out at a time where Genshin was reaching critical popularity.
I
Like,
would have said
its rise was beginning, and the main bullet point everybody knew about Zhongli at that time, you know, granted after the buff,
I would have
is
said
you need
no.
Zhongli on your team because he has the best survivability for your team, basically for the next forever of the game. And funnily enough, he
Yeah,
still
no.
has the best
I would have said
and he has the shred.
Nouvelette. I would have
buffed him by
said
shred.
Nouvelette. I would have I don't
Nouvelette,
know.
my goat.
No.
My goat.
I think Nouvelette.
Nouvelette.
As someone who knows far more about Zhongli than I do Nouvelette, I can easily say Nouvelette is probably a much better example that he could have said, but for some reason he didn't say Nouvelette, so whatever.
Nouvelette the goat.
TLDR pull for anime babes. I'm not trying to convince anyone. Is he still going in here? Okay, well, as much as I would love to keep going on this, I have work tomorrow, and it is almost 1:30 a.m. So I needed to have gone to sleep like an hour and a half ago. So we're gonna have to. The day just rolled over. Okay, great. Okay, I need to get going. Like, fucking, I need to have gotten going literally yesterday. So
Thank you, chat, for being here and allowing yourselves to listen to us, you know, randomly spout bullshit. It never mattered. It never will matter.
it was fun.
We're gonna go back to playing Call of Duty when we're in our fucking 60s anyway, just like our dads and our stepdads.
And we're
I can't wait for Black Ops. I can't wait for Black Ops 28.
I can't wait for Black Ops 12 with user made content, free labor and all that. They're not getting paid to do it, you know. They should.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Y'all have a nice night.
Have a nice night.